And welcome back to the Movie Hero Network. This is a podcast about movies. We are back after taking a month-long hiatus for the month of
Mhm.
December, but we are back to do our 2023 wrap up. Kind of the thing we do in January.
Yeah.
It's kind of going to be the thing we do in January for however long we decide to do this. Um, but I am not alone. As always, I am joined by my co-host Austin Pez. How is it going, sir?
Oh man, I'm doing great. I love January as well because we get to kind of reflect on the year and talk about our favorite movies and and just really wrap up some of my favorite stuff with all the different channels that like do their wrap ups and their top lists and we just get to really celebrate the year in movies. And 2023, as I've got written down here, I thought was a great year for movies overall.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of fantastic movies. I saw a ton of like just good, solid movies, even if they weren't like my favorites of the year. A lot of really good, like those 7.5 or 8 out of 10 type
hmm
movies, like just good, solid movies, which I'm totally fine with, if they're good. I mean, I have a worst of list, but it's a
right.
vast majority of the movies I saw were entertaining at least, and I enjoyed. So, as long as you went outside of the tentpole stuff of like the $200 million movies and really sought out like some other things, it was a really, really good year, as we'll kind of talk about some of these movies for sure and highlight them.
Yeah, I didn't see quite as many new releases as I wanted to. There
Mhm.
was kind of a time in the year where I was just like, I just want to watch movies that I know I like, just movies that I know will
Hey,
make me feel good.
there's
And
nothing wrong with that. I also have to make room for my bi-monthly viewing of Tremors, so
right.
it just is what it is.
So did I watch Sweeney Todd this year?
I was
Yes.
gonna
Did I
say
watch?
you have to make room for your, every couple of months you got to watch Sweeney Todd, you got to watch,
Did I
or
watch
Mary
The Lion
Poppins, or
King, Mary Poppins?
Lion King,
Absolutely. Did I
of
watch
course.
Willy Wonka twice?
There's
Yes.
nothing wrong with it.
So
Those are your comfort movies, man. We
yeah,
all have those.
absolutely. We
You got to watch them every now and then, keep them in your brain. So yeah,
so,
I get it.
but yeah, no, it is. We just did
Hmm.
Raycom, and afterwards, we kind of did our worst of list off air, and
Yeah.
I've only seen 58. So my bottom 10 even included two movies that I still gave positive scores to, movies that I gave three
Right.
out of five to. So like I didn't go out of my way to watch bad movies.
So you're
Uh,
not a glutton for punishment like me, Jacob? No.
I'm not, but I did watch
Okay.
some that I had higher expectations for, and they
Right.
kind of because like uh, just some of the two that were in the bottom 10 that I gave positive scores to. Quantumania, which I
Okay.
think is fine. I don't think it's bad, but it's definitely not as good as it could have been. And then Five Nights at Freddy's. Maybe I'm because I didn't play the game. I'm just not as into it as other people were. But I didn't think there was anything.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought it
Yeah,
was fine. Yeah,
it
it was
was
fine.
okay. Right?
No, you're like Jordan, where Jordan like only saw like 50 or so as well. So like his bottom is just stuff he like wasn't as into as everybody else, but he
Right.
fully acknowledges like they're decent movies, overall. No, I have a definitive worst of list. If you want me to throw some out at the end of the show, I can do that.
Okay.
But
I'm
I
curious.
because I saw I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I had a goal of hitting 100 movies, new releases. I have a Regal Unlimited. I have a Regal near me,
Mhm.
so I hit it like really hard. Like just watched almost everything that came out. I made an effort to go to the art house theaters we have in Nashville and really see like the smaller releases and basically I was checking the show times every week, just like looking for new interesting movies to go watch. And so even movies like Jules, like the Ben Kingsley movie, like little things
Mm,
that I probably wouldn't have normally seen, I just went and took a chance on. But yeah, I'm at 108 right now, so
nice.
I broke my record. And I know it's going to be good when I entered December with like 90, and I was like, oh, well,
Right.
there's at least like 6 movies I'll see in theaters plus a couple of streaming things or whatever here and
Yeah.
there. Like I'll make it. I don't have to rush it. Like I will make it normally, and I don't have to like kill myself trying to get there. But
Right.
I'm happy. I set a goal for myself and I did it, so I can really talk about almost everything that came out this year, which I'm very happy about.
Yeah. And I'm definitely making that a goal this
Mhm.
year. We'll see how it goes, especially with my current situation.
Right.
We'll
Yeah.
we'll see what happens there. But
Yeah. Yeah.
also, I want to watch more um like older movies too.
Sure.
like I did this year, but most of those were movies that we were going to discuss on here, like the Mission
Sure.
Impossible movies, the Rocky movies, Chucky, like.
But there's nothing wrong with that, with like doing scheduling stuff and making yourself sometimes watch these movies that you would
Right.
normally
No,
watch. There's
nothing
nothing
wrong. I'm
wrong with
not
that.
complaining at all.
Yeah.
But now it's like I watched, I guess, like I watched Earth Girls Are Easy finally for the first
There
time.
you go.
I watched that earlier this week. So I'm already, at one. So I've already got.
I only did as far as I could tell, because I didn't count like rewatches and stuff. I only hit about 50 like old movies, like first time watches. I didn't hit as many of those as I did. I think mainly because I was so zoomed in on hitting like 2023 movies, that I had a harder time like making time to sit down and watch others. Even those I do like I sometimes blind buy stuff and I pulled them all out trying to like hit one every now and then. I hit a few of them, but I've still got a stack of stuff I like need to get to. But maybe I'll try to get to more of those this year and have a little bit more of those.
Every once in a while, I'll plan like a weekend marathon. I try to do it all in one day, but I'm at that age now where I just can't do it.
No, it's you just get exhausted from like sitting there. It's weird.
Yeah. Because like earlier, and I'll talk about some of them because this did happen in the last half of the year. I planned like a through the decade thing where I started in the 30s.
Oh, right.
And went to the present, and I was able to hit 10 that way. So it was like, well, if I do that like once a month,
or just a couple of times a year, like maybe once a quarter, even like one in the spring, one in the summer, one in the fall. Like you could schedule one.
40 movies right there alone that I just want to watch, and I'm not forcing myself to watch them because we're going to do an episode on them.
Well, and you got to make
there's anything wrong with
you got to plan it out. You got to make sure you have the next day off so you can just sleep late and like catch up, rest your brain. Like you have to plan it out. Like marathons take planning, man. They're not easy.
Which is why I've made them a weekend thing and not a long thing. I could start Friday after work, and I don't work there anymore, but I had the weekends off, so it was really easy just to plan the weekends and do it that way. But we did this, a 2023 so far. It really worked out great this year because July 1st happened to be on a Saturday, and so it worked out perfectly. So we'll be talking about the new releases we saw in the last half of the year, and which means some of the ones that I might bring up probably were released in the first half of the year. I just didn't see them then.
No, you saw them on streaming or whatever later. I totally get it, and everything I'll bring up will definitely I look through my lists and pick stuff after, basically from Mission Impossible on, But I understand if you haven't seen a few of those, I get it because you have limited access to the theater. I get that. You got like the one down the road you can walk to if they happen to get a movie you're interested in. Cool, you can walk and see it.
That's where I saw Wonka.
And then, I know you have to plan out your other bus visit to the other theater to see stuff and try to see multiple movies or whatever. And when you do
it, because on the weekends, and it's weird. I don't know why they shorten the schedule on the weekends to where their bus service ends at 4, where during the week bus service ends at 7. And it's like, well, no, I have more time on the weekends. Go till 7. Let me go watch.
I want to go to the theater and watch 2 movies or something in an afternoon and then go home or whatever. I know you would try to. If
I went to see the Iron Claw, and I was like, well, I'd stay and watch another one, but I don't have time.
I gotta make
it was
the
like
bus,
a Wednesday. I could have, but
it
is what it is.
I gotcha.
I do agree with you. I think it's been a great year for movies. Just about every movie in my top 10, and maybe I'm just an easy rater. Every movie I gave a 4.5 or higher to that are in my top 12. Even the few outside my top 12, I gave a 4.5 or higher to.
I won't spoil it what it is specifically. My top 2 I've seen 4 times a piece. So I really, really love my top 2 are my top 2, definitively.
Yeah.
My 3 through 6 are all 10 out of 10 bangers, where it's and I've seen everything in my top 12 other than one movie multiple times at least. But they could swap out any given time, you know what I mean? Same thing with my 7 through 10 could kind of mishmash, and then my 11 through 12 are those ones that like are just better than the honorable mentions and just squeak in, but not quite as like killer as like as like the top ones. But yeah, and then I had like a ton of honorable mentions, dude. Like we talked about on Podcast League Now the other night. I had like 15 honorable mentions that I could have at any given point. One of them could have jumped in there. It's been great. Yeah, so I mean, I saw a ton of great movies, and yeah, I definitely some movies that will become very regular watches, over the next couple of years for sure, which is always good.
Yeah. I finally got to Killers of the Flower Moon.
Okay.
Finally got to that one recently, and I thought it was good, and I don't know if I'm just not a fan of long Scorsese movies.
Right.
Because I think I definitely started to feel the length on this one. But I'm not going to take anything away from the performances in the movie. I think Leonardo DiCaprio and Lily Gladstone were great. I think Lily Gladstone deserves to be in that Best Actress conversation because I think she's incredible. But yeah, that getting to that last half hour, I was like, oh, okay, we're almost done. Okay,
right,
finally. But yeah, I thought the filmmaking was good, and maybe it's just one of those stories where I don't know what you would cut out.
Right. Yeah.
But if you could make it work, then like I think your film could benefit from it. But maybe because another one, and I'm pretty sure we talked about it on the previous episode, John Wick 4. That's a 3-hour movie, but that's a movie that you don't feel the length because of pacing and the action, and it's just. But I think maybe this movie just kind of suffered from it. Like if you're into those movies, like absolutely, I'm not going to fault you at all. I totally get it. It would just didn't do it for me. I still gave it a 4 out of 5 because I think the filmmaking's good, the performances are good. I felt the length.
Well, I talked about it a little bit with I was on with Aaron Knoll on as you were recently as well. He's starting to do the Battleground Countdown, as well, and we did Scorsese. I know you did animated Disney movies, but yeah, when we did the Scorsese thing, he had it on his list and I didn't. But we talked about it a little bit, and I think what I kind of pinpointed my thing with it is there's a thing with Scorsese movies. With stuff like Goodfellas or Wolf of Wall Street or Casino or even stuff like The King of Comedy or After Hours, where in the third act, he has a really good way of like ratcheting up the tension and feeling like walls are closing in and you feel like the pace kind of quicken. Goodfellas, it's when he's having the paranoia at the end. He thinks the helicopter's flying over and he's all coked up and he's about to rat on everybody. Wolf of Wall Street is when they start to arrest everybody and the FCC's closing in and everybody's panicking and, trying to cover up everything. And he does a really good job of that. I didn't feel that same tension and panic in the last act of Killers of the Flower Moon. Like I didn't feel like there was a walls closing in type scenario. It's like Jesse Plemons shows up and it picks up a little bit like once the investigation gets going, but I still didn't feel like there was an urgency like to it. I just felt like it was still kind of going at the same casual pace that it was in the first 2 acts. And I felt like if they had ratcheted up and maybe cut out at least a few things to just ratchet up that pacing, I thought it could have just been a little bit better. And I thought that was missing from it for me. Yeah, I'm the same as you. Filmmaking's amazing. Everything's shot beautifully. All the performances are tremendous. Yeah, Lily Gladstone's great. Robert De Niro was great in that movie. I could see him getting an outside like supporting actor nomination out of this. He's really, really good in that movie. I wouldn't be surprised. Like I'll just say that. And because the supporting actor is going to be stacked this year, stacked. It's going to be ridiculous. Like one of those years where certain categories are just ridiculous where I won't be able to predict it. Because supporting actor, you would have Robert Downey Jr. From Oppenheimer, possibly De Niro for Killers, Mark Ruffalo from Poor Things, who's amazing in that movie. He steals the movie. He's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, all kinds of like performances here and there you could pick out. And it's like that was just my only thing. So maybe it'll go up on a rewatch, maybe for you too. Maybe a year from now, rewatch it and see what happens. That happened with The Irishman. I appreciate it a little bit more the second time I saw it. So it definitely could happen. But hey, a good Scorsese movie is still a good Scorsese movie. And it's still a really good movie.
It's bad.
It's just not going to end up being like one of my favorite Scorsese movies, but still, it's still a good Martin Scorsese picture. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Like I still gave it a 4 out of 5. It's still in the top 20 for the year for me. So it's like
yeah.
I still enjoyed it, but
No, it would still made my honorable mentions list,
yeah.
like just a little further down than some of the other movies. But yeah, still a really good movie for sure.
And there was a reason it was our most anticipated movie 2 years in a row.
Well, actually, that's a bit of a misnomer. It was in the 2 tournaments. It won one of them. John Wick Chapter 4 won the other one.
That's true.
So, but I will say John Wick Chapter 4 is one of those ones that won the anticipated and also has a chance of winning the 2023 actual tournament, or at least one of the tournaments.
That's true.
So it could be a 2-time winner by the time it's all said and done. We'll see. We'll talk about that when we get to tournament fights in the 2023 tournament, which I'll plug at the end of the show. But yeah, no, I figure, yeah, so you're kind of kicking it off a little bit kind of with Killers of the Flower Moon. Yeah, we're not going to do any rankings, but I think what we talked about is just kind of going back and forth and just shouting out some movies, and we can just kind of go back and forth for a little while and just talk about some different stuff over the year, you know, that we didn't talk about the first episode. So, but I'll give you another one. Go and shout out another one besides Killers of the Flower Moon, because I saw way more than you, so I want you to pick out ones that you saw, you know, and give you a little more leeway.
Yeah, another one, and this one was close to making my top 12. Because of Carey Mulligan's performance alone, but Maestro, I really dug this movie. I think Bradley Cooper, you know, we talked last year about what's his name, Colin Farrell being like,
having like
MVP.
that MVP year with like 4 movies.
I think you could say you could say the same for Bradley Cooper this year, not only in front of the screen but behind the screen as well, because I think he does a fantastic job directing this movie and playing Leonard Bernstein. I love the first half of this movie being in black and white and then transitioning into color. I think that was a really good choice, and I really enjoyed that. But for me, like, I think Carey Mulligan gives the performance of the year. I think she is
I've heard that
incredible in this movie, and just kind of the progression of her character. And yeah, like, this, it was so hard to not put this in my top 12. It's just outside at 14, but it was like I watched it a week ago, so it hasn't sat with me as long as some of these other movies. But I'm sure as I rewatch it, because I'll rewatch it for Carey Mulligan's performance alone. I think, I can't speak on it. She's got to be in the conversation. I know it's like her and Lily Gladstone and
Emma Stone.
Like, I haven't seen Poor Things yet, so I can't speak on it, but I've heard really good things.
Emma Stone it's the performance of her career. From what you're saying, it might be the performance of Carey Mulligan's career. You know what I mean? Like, you know, obviously Lily Gladstone's a big like breakout performance. The lady from Anatomy of a Fall, I can't remember her, but I saw that. She also is probably going to get nominated, and she's incredible in Anatomy of a Fall as far as like realistic. You don't believe she's acting, or just naturalistic acting. She's incredible in that movie. She'll probably get on. So that's another one where supporting actor and best actress are both going to be like, I have no idea where it's going to go. Yeah. Like or who's going to get it. Like, I cannot. If I sat down and tried to do predictions this year, I would probably fail miserably because I have no idea where or what to do with that.
And I love that when you don't know. It's kind of like last year with the best actor was, you know, Frasier and Colin Farrell and what's Elvis? Austin Butler.
Oh, Austin Butler. Yeah, you didn't know where that was going to go.
You didn't know where it was going to go. I think the right person won because I finally watched The Whale after, and I'm like, okay, I see why he won. And I think I think you can say the same thing this year. Brian in the chat, best actor will be tough as well. I think it's a just to speak on that real quick. I think it's a 2-horse race. I think Bradley Cooper will get nominated because I think he is really good here. But for me, it's between Cillian Murphy and Paul Giamatti. That have to be discussed.
But again, I don't know where that's going to go because sometimes the Academy likes to give out these like career awards, you know, for people that have been in the business forever, which it could be Giamatti's year for that. But sometimes they give out the more nuanced performance, which is the Cillian Murphy performance, you know. So like, I don't know where they're going to go with that. I have no idea. Bradley Cooper certainly has an outside chance if they're really high on that and those types of performances. There's several awards where I'm like, I'm throwing my hands in the air, like I have no idea. Like, and to where if any one of them won, I would be like, yeah, that makes sense. Like it would not be like a how did that person win? That's ridiculous. It'd be like, yeah, I get it. I totally get it. You know, like that person
I don't
won.
think there's a lock for any of these.
Any one of
awards.
those. Nope. I don't think there's a clear front runner at all. I think there was earlier in the year, and then so many of these performances came later in the year, and you're like, oh no, this is getting heated. Yeah.
The only one I said there would have been a lock on was best animated, but then The Boy and the Heron came out, and you can't count out Miyazaki. So I'm even like this with that one, even though
for that one, right? Even though you're rooting for Spider-Verse, obviously, but yeah,
it's like I get it though. But yeah, but no, Maestro. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix, and it's I think
I haven't seen it yet. I need to catch up with the 2 Netflix movies. I need to catch up with May, December, and Maestro, but I'm going to get to them before, our end of the year stuff. I just haven't had time to sit down and watch either one of them yet. I probably will have time to watch at least one of them tomorrow, and I will. It's weird with Maestro. I've heard some people like really raving about it. There's a podcast I subscribe to and listen to where all 3 of the panelists were not high on it at all, and we're not vibing with it. So I don't know. Like I'll just have to watch it for myself and see where I go on it, whether I dig it or not. We'll see.
And I get it if you're not a fan of it, like the story, I get it. Like the story wasn't really that captivating to me, but it was the performances.
No, I want to watch it for the performances because especially even more than Bradley Cooper, I've heard the Carey Mulligan stuff about how she's incredible. So I want to see it just for that, for sure, and watch it just to be in there. But
it's a good movie with great performances. It's one of those, and that's what elevates it for me personally.
Well, that was a streaming movie, so you caught up before I did because I was busy watching theater movies, so that makes sense.
I watch most of mine at home.
Exactly. No, you watch a lot of stuff at home, and you and JPO watch a lot of stuff at home, and I get it. So that's totally cool. Maestro was in one theater for a little while, one of the art house theaters, and I was tempted to go. I couldn't work it into my schedule. But I'm glad to hear you liked it though. I'm definitely going to see it very soon. Let's talk about some other stuff. I was just talking about it, the fandom over on Ryan Permison's And I Quote channel. I was talking about my Godzilla fandom, and boys, it have been a good year because goddamn is Godzilla -1 a hell of a movie. And really, again, I was looking forward to it, obviously, just as a Godzilla fan, and just hearing that it was going to get at least somewhat of a wide release. It was only supposed to be in theaters like a week, and now it's been in theaters for a month and a half or whatever, and still hanging around some theaters because of how successful it's been with the word of mouth. People are going around. So I'm so happy it's showing up on like multiple best of lists from different publications and whatnot, even from people that aren't Godzilla fans. I think that's what makes it a great movie, Jacob, is that this is just a great movie in general that happens to have Godzilla in it, which is the key. I hope it gets nominated for some stuff. Like, I probably they'll submit it for foreign film at least. It'll probably get in there for that.
I don't think it was on the short list.
Was it not on the short? That's weird. I hope it at least gets some recognition here and there. But regardless, it's kind of a special, weird situation where it kind of came out of nowhere and took everybody by storm. But that's the great thing about this movie, though, is that even if you didn't have Godzilla in this movie, it's still just a good movie. This post-war movie about this pilot who's having survivor's guilt and PTSD and, starting this kind of makeshift family and just the atmosphere and him trying to gain his redemption. It'd be a great movie just with that, Jacob. But then you throw in some awesome Godzilla stuff in the middle of that, and it just makes it even better. And some of the greatest tension I've seen this year. I'm so happy as a Godzilla fan that we've had maybe the best Godzilla since the original one. I could firmly say that. I've seen it 4 times in theaters now, which should tell you how good it is. It's as a Godzilla fan, I'd be hard pressed not to put this at number 1. I'm still debating with another movie as to whether or not it'll be, but it's very, very close. I don't know. Have you had a chance to see it yet, or no? Oh man, that stinks, man, because it's so good and worth a theater experience if you can get to it. But I know it's kind of winding its theater down here now. But I know it'll probably show up on video pretty soon. It'll get a physical release probably later, but hopefully it'll at least show up on digital here pretty soon. I hope so.
I've heard nothing but good things, and I've heard people say, it's a good drama with Godzilla in it.
Yes.
So I'm excited to see it because I'm not as big a Godzilla fan as you. Like I've seen the MonsterVerse movies, and I saw the 54 Godzilla, and I'm pretty sure there was one in the 90s. I can't remember though.
Oh, there's I mean, there was the Roland Emmerich one in the '90s, which we don't talk about.
Oh, right.
Jacob as a
Yeah,
Godzilla fan.
that's the
That
one.
movie doesn't exist. We don't talk about that. No, one of my other favorite Godzilla movies was in the '90s, but it was one of the Toho ones, Godzilla versus Destroyer. But no, we don't talk. But this is the perfect movie for a person like you, Jacob. That's like a kind of very casual Godzilla fan. You know, you've maybe liked a few things here and there, but you're not a huge fan. But again, just because it's a great movie. It's just a great movie that you can get into, and even a great entry point for Godzilla, because it's almost like not a reboot, but it takes place in that World War II era, so it's almost like a fresh origin story, you know. So you don't have to know backstory, you don't have to know a lot about Godzilla. You can just go into this movie blind and just have a great time. So that's why it's amazing, getting so much love.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things. People who've seen it's either in their top list or it's on that honorable mention list. Like,
right, yeah,
like that movie was fine. So
no, it's pretty great.
Something special there.
Yeah. So yeah, hit me with another one. What else you got?
Yeah, another one from earlier in the year that I finally caught up to was Dungeons and Dragons.
I just watched it like 2 weeks ago. I missed it in theaters, but I picked up the 4K on Black Friday for like $7 at Best Buy. It was on one of those racks, so I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. I know people are digging it, and yeah, I finally watched it like 2 weeks ago. So yeah,
I watched. It was the final movie of 2023 that I watched.
Nice.
I logged on Letterboxd. It was the very last movie, and I went into it. I was like, oh yeah. Maybe the people that are liking it like actually like Dungeons and Dragons. So like, oh yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Or they're fantasy fans. Right. They like all that kind of stuff. Whatever. Yeah.
Right. And I like fantasy, but I'm not a Dungeons and Dragons guy. The only thing I know about Dungeons and Dragons is there's a board game based off Waterdeep, which is mentioned in the movie, and that's the only thing that I know. And the board game doesn't even have to do with Dungeons and Dragons. It's just name alone.
Right.
But no, this was I dug this movie. I thought I didn't expect it to be as funny as it actually was. There was a lot of good humor in it, and I found myself laughing out loud quite a bit. It's a fun adventure movie. I really dig the friendship between Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez. And I love that it just stayed a friendship and they didn't,
have like the breakup period or anything like that, or not be a romance, or they break up and have to like reconcile. It's just like, no, we're just a crew. Like we were a crew, we stick together, we do our thing. Yeah.
And Hugh Grant, I didn't expect his character to go the way it did from the trailers. I thought he was going to be part of the group, and I guess spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen this. I'm sorry.
He's the villain.
He turns out to be the villain. I'm like, I didn't expect that. Hugh Grant having a good year as well.
Because he was in Operation Fortune earlier this year, playing another villain, I think, and then Dungeons and Dragons playing a villain, and then obviously, he's in Wonka. He's one of the better parts of Wonka as the Oompa Loompa. Yeah, he's having a good time here. Yeah,
it's hard to tell who's MVP of the year. Like, I think there's a few good choices, but back to Dungeons and I thought it was a fun adventure. I even like Justice Smith in this movie, and maybe I just haven't seen enough of him. But the few movies I have seen him in, I'm like, he was fine.
I think the last thing I remember him in was like he was in the last two Jurassic World movies.
Yeah, I wasn't.
But as just like a random side character, like one of the random crew. I remember him screaming in the trailer for Fallen Kingdom. That's all I remember. Right. It's like he's just kind of there. No, he was fun. He had a good character.
I dug his character. Yeah, and like I said, I dug the humor. It was a lot funnier than I remembered, and I loved the adventure aspect. I loved the fantasy. I thought the effects were good. So it was a pleasant surprise. I think it's one of those movies where it's like, a movie based off an existing property. They don't always work, but no, this one worked, and probably one of the better surprises of the year for me personally.
Yeah, no, it's not in like my top or honorable or anything like that, but I really enjoyed it. Like I had a good time with it, and I'm not really a fantasy guy. That it's not really my style of movie. But I put it on because I had it in my stack, and I was like, a lot of people are talking about it, and like I need to sit down and watch it. And I had way more fun with it than I thought I would, even just from the opening stuff with them doing like those parole hearings or whatever, their pardoning hearings, where he just keeps waiting for the other guy to show up, and like he's like, but can I really just stop? It was an interesting way to like kind of tell the backstory and get the exposition out of the way. Yeah, the camaraderie we had with Michelle Rodriguez was great. You know what she reminded me of in this movie was like Drax, like Batista in Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, because it's the way she delivers lines and stuff, like kind of bluntly,
no,
like she kind of bluntly says what she thinks, and just kind of the way she like delivers the information to people like so bluntly, like she doesn't care how you feel about it. She's like, she's gonna tell you what she thinks. It kind of reminded me of Drax in like the first Guardians, but in a good way. Like, I thought that was great, and she, it was good to see her outside of a Fast and Furious movie doing something fun, and not just being part of the crew, and the family in Fast and Furious and being kind of bland. So yeah, that was great. Yeah, Hugh Grant was a lot of fun. Yeah, really good sequences throughout. I loved the whole sequence where they kept having to wake up the dead guys over and over again to get the info on the helmet. Because it wasn't just the one, they had to do like 8 of them, because they kept going like, no, I passed it off to this guy. Okay, no, but I set it down, I got killed and I dropped it. Like they keep having to like go to different ones. Like, again, that sense of humor, from the script and everything was really good. So this is one that I could see myself still going back to in the future, and I totally get it if somebody puts it on their top, because I could see some people being like, man, this is going to be like a really good rewatch years from now, and like being like a comfort movie for a lot of people. I could definitely see that for sure, because it's a very easy to watch movie for sure.
Yeah, and shout out Bradley Cooper again.
I know, yeah, showing up as like a little person, in a weird cameo. I can't tell if he was little or if it's just the lady was really big. I don't know what they were going for, or if he was just a normal person living in like a giant lady's house or something, on the little chair. But that was a nice little cameo.
Yeah, and it was even one of those movies where there felt like there were a lot of plot conveniences, but they worked.
Yeah,
like when they're the portal that they have. That's not a walking stick; it's a portal. Oh, and now we can get across the bridge.
Yeah,
like it's like, oh, how convenient, but they make it work.
But the movie felt like a video game movie where it's like we're going on these side quests and we pick up items along the way that help us out. Like it felt like a Zelda thing or something like that. Where we go on the side quest to get the helmet, and then we pick up the power up with the portal thing. Like that's what it felt like. We faced the mini boss, and the the little dragon creature or whatever in that sequence. And like we have to get from here to here to here. Before we can go back to the main quest, we got to do the side quest. Things like that. But I thought it was fun. Like, it was a good time.
Yeah, and the ending surprised me. So good on them for that. I thought it was like, oh, we're gonna get a happy ending, but the happy ending we got was not the happy ending I expected. So that was cool. But yeah, no, big surprise.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk some horror really quick. Just really quick. We'll talk one real quick that I know you've seen, maybe one you haven't seen. So maybe we'll do a quick double dose of horror. Maybe I'll plug one I've seen, and then we can talk about one I know you've seen. So let me briefly talk about my favorite horror movie of the year, which is When Evil Lurks. A movie that kind of came out of nowhere. I haven't been able to
get to it yet.
Yeah, it's on Shudder right now for anybody who wants to try to see it. It's on VOD as well, like you can rent it or buy it and whatnot. This is a Spanish movie out of Argentina, and it's one that John Marr recommended to me. He's like, oh, you got to try to see this as soon as you can, and it happened to be playing at my Regal the week after he recommended it. I was like, oh, sweet, perfect timing. Like, so went to the theater and watched it, and boy, does this movie have some balls, Jacob. This movie has balls. It is a ballsy movie that does not care about your feelings, because we are going to do whatever we want in this movie. But it was kind of refreshing because I hadn't seen a movie be that bold and daring to where it's like, I don't care what you think. We're going to do this story, and it might not work out well for some people, through this thing. A really creative premise. It's basically kind of a spirit body jumping movie, not like a exorcism possession movie, but it's like an entity that's jumping from person to person. If like somebody dies, it jumps to another person. It's this entity that's been in this area that kind of at the beginning it's like settled into this person that's at this farmhouse. It's been sitting in this person, rotting this person away for months. And then there's kind of a lore around it, but you don't know too much. It kind of reveals here and there. It gives you just enough without giving you too much. Just enough to keep your interest peaked. But man, there's a lot of great practical effects in this movie. If you don't like gore, I would say don't watch this movie, because boy, is there some really good practical stuff here, but it's very gross, some of it. But really good practical stuff. It has maybe more WTF moments per minute once it gets going than any other movie this year, maybe other than Saltburn.
Mm.
And yeah, as far as just like one after another, just being like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, just one after another. And yeah, a movie that just has a pretty explosive couple of scenes and a really good finale. But yeah, I don't want to spoil too much, but I just say it's kind of a possession body jumping thing, which is some really great practical stuff and just a really cool, well filmed movie as well. So I just want to shout out When Evil Lurks. If you're a horror fan out there, it's not for everybody. Again, if you're a fraidy cat or you don't like gory horror movies, stay away. And I totally understand. But if you're willing to take the jump, man, it's really, really good. And it's one of my favorites of the year. So yeah, I know you said you hadn't got to it yet, but
Yeah, no, I have Shudder, so I can.
yeah,
I'll get to it.
yeah,
Soon. It's just like, yeah, there's just
sure.
a lot that I need to catch up on.
But we can talk about one I know you've seen and one of the other favorites of the year. We can talk about Talk to Me because I know you saw Talk to Me.
Yeah, I did. Yes, I
Yeah,
watched
we
that
can talk about
recently as
that.
well.
Yeah, but you want to talk about Talk to Me for a second, then I'll talk about it. But
Yeah,
I know, yeah.
it was another one because of word of mouth,
Hmm.
and I thought the premise was interesting enough, and seemed original enough that I'm like, okay, an original horror movie.
Hmm.
Is this A24?
Yeah, it's an A24
Yeah,
horror movie,
okay.
which
Hey, man,
they're hit or miss with their horror movies with me personally. They can either
mm,
be really good, they're like
yeah,
on the Hereditary Midsommar level,
right.
or they're on
Or
the
the
Lamb
bodies.
bodies or Lamb level where there's not so good. But luckily, yeah, this is one of the good ones for sure.
Yeah, and I was also surprised because I mean, there's really not a bunch of big names here, and I'm pretty sure the directors of this movie haven't really
First time.
done. Yeah, so
Mhm.
and what a first movie, because yeah, it's very interesting, and just the performances alone when they're doing the hand thing, like,
Yeah.
oh man, some of those performances and those sequences are just haunting and terrifying,
Mhm.
and some of the imagery, and just the places it goes to. Like, I didn't know what to expect from this movie,
Yeah.
and I yeah, no, I really dug it. I'm not a horror guy. Um,
Yeah. Right.
I'm a very casual horror. I'm not gonna say I don't like horror. I'm just a very casual horror fan. I'll see like the big releases and then anything that gets word of mouth. I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, I'll check it out. I've heard
Hmm.
good things about it. Whereas with some of the other genres, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna check that out because it's an animated
Yeah.
movie, or I'm gonna see that because it's a superhero movie, and I like
Right.
those.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, no, really, really interesting. I think some really interesting characters here and some interesting choices. That opening to this movie, I thought, was really good and really well done. I'm like, just
Hmm.
getting right into it. Um,
They're talking about doing a possible prequel about that story or what led up to the opening sequence or something.
right. I want to know more about the hand and where it
Well,
came
and I think
from.
that's what it's they're
Yeah,
talking about doing a
yeah.
prequel about sort of how the hand just got into the possession of this group or whatever, or kind of
Mhm.
some of the origins of it or how it got kind of possessed or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, how it got its powers. They talked about doing that and a sequel. So like because that this movie made cost like another $5 million, $10 million movie that made over $100 million. So I mean they've
Yeah,
got the blank check to keep it going obviously now. And got the green light to keep going. So I'm all for it.
yeah. I think this is this year's X and Pearl for me, where I didn't know
Yeah.
too much going into it, but boy, did I love it.
No, it's great. Yeah, with that hand just alone, you create such a cool mythology about. Yeah, they give you just enough to where you're just like, yeah, how does it have this power? What does it do? And what I liked about it also is you don't see too much of what the people see. You get little glimpses here and
Yeah,
there. Sometimes they see the dead person briefly, and they only do it a couple of times, and then sometimes you just see their reaction to what they see. Like, well, we're just focused in on the person grabbing the hand, and you don't even see what they're seeing. You just see their eyes widen and their reaction to it. And you're like, oh my God, what are they looking at? Like, it's got to be something horrifying.
mhm,
But they leave it a lot to your imagination, but not in a kind of jump scary way or, loud noises. Again, I like these movies like this and When Evil Lurks where it's not based on noisy jump scares like a Nun 2 or something like that. Some of these lame movies that just rely on noises where that's startling you. That's not scaring you,
yeah,
I like these movies where it unnerves you and it gets under your skin, where you're unnerved because the characters are unnerved,
Right.
and because they're scared, you're scared, and it creates that tension and that atmosphere rather than
Mhm.
just going boo, and just
Mhm.
making you jump for no reason. But
Which is
yeah,
why I'm glad I watched this during the middle of the day and not
right.
at
Go to
night
bed right
on
afterwards.
your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and yeah, it's just cool what they've been able to do with this. Yeah, all the performances are excellent. Yeah, from mostly unknown kind of Aussie actors, and
Yeah.
but yeah, everybody's great. The relationship between the girl and her father, is and the mother is cool.
Mhm.
So yeah, no, really good stuff all around. If you haven't gotten around to talk to me yet, yeah, even if you're just a casual horror fan like Jacob, like I think it's well worth your time, just for how creative it is and how
Yeah,
interesting it is.
absolutely.
Yeah, so it definitely one of my. I don't know if it'll make my top 12. It's kind of right outside that territory, I think, because I'm gonna put like my number one horror movie in there. Probably not the runners up,
Mhm.
but yeah, it really good, and I look forward to going back to it. So yeah, just wanted to talk at least a little bit about horror
Yeah.
tonight. I didn't want to bog you down with horror. Just a little couple of shout outs.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think there's been some good horror. Like even like um I don't think I have any horror in my
Yeah,
like I guess I do because I guess Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, but I expected that to be bad.
right.
I still it's just one of those movies too where you could make this cheesy. You could have some elements of fun with a
Mhm.
Winnie the Pooh horror movie, but they just play it so straight. And it's like, come on, you gotta have some element of fun, some
Yeah,
element of cheese, I think, which I hope the Mickey Mouse movie has an element of fun or
we'll
an
see.
element of cheese, but based off the, trailer, I'm not sure.
Yeah, yeah.
And how long have they been saving that trailer? That
Well, I
dropped
think
the day.
they were already making the movie. They just had to keep it under
Yeah,
wraps. And yeah, the day the
exactly.
copyright expires, they put the trailer up because it's
Right.
ready to go. And like, I mean, smart on their part, to
Yeah,
coincide with it. So good on it. It's like the Winnie the Pooh thing. Like as soon as it went out, they had the trailer for that pretty much ready to go and like ready to rock. So I mean, you just can't advertise it till then. But yeah, I didn't hate Winnie the Pooh as much as everybody else. Maybe because I saw it in the theater with a full crowd and we were having kind of
mhm,
a good time with it. So maybe that helped. I think everybody that hated it watched it alone, just in a
right,
room, and it just doesn't work as well as
yeah,
far as that goes. We had a little more fun with it as a crowd, kind of laughing along, goofing on it a little bit. So I didn't have as bad of an experience in a theater, but I
that could
totally
help,
get it.
yeah.
But I understand. I totally get it. Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, what else you want to shout out?
yeah, no, it's a movie that kinda surprised me because, Netflix comedies don't always work.
Mm,
But Old Dads, the Bill Burr movie,
okay.
it was kind of a surprise because there were several moments where I actually was laughing out loud. It's got a pretty good story. Um, Bill Burr, if you like his, maybe I just don't know his comedy enough that like if you're a fan of like uh,
Mm,
I talked about this with JPO, and I think he just wanted more from him based off like his comedy and like well I haven't watched his stand up a lot so
right.
I don't know his comedy style so maybe that kind of helped me with my enjoyment of the movie
Sure.
um
Just to watch
but
his character and not so much
yeah,
project like
right,
his stand up on it or whatever. Yeah.
right, but like he's this older dad and his kid is in this private school and he gets uh you know kind of roped into planning like a fundraiser and stuff and he's having marital problems, and there's two others I can't remember their names off the top of my head, but they're also having kind of issues with their
Mhm,
partners,
mhm.
and it was just it's I'm not I'm it's nowhere near like the top of my list, but it was
Right.
just one of those surprises where I went into it and was like, it's a comedy. I'll turn it on in the background just to have something on, and then I ended up watching the whole thing and like actually enjoying it. Um,
Mhm.
there were some good moments, but there's a lot of fun sequences and the kind of ripping on some of the influencers.
It's a lot. The
lot of
clips I
fun.
saw, I haven't seen it yet all the way through, but I saw some clips kind of when you're scrolling like Facebook videos or whatever. I saw people uploaded little scenes or whatever. It looks like a lot of like, older generation versus like Gen Z
Yeah,
kind of stuff,
yeah,
very much like social justice warrior type stuff versus like old mentality, so I mean, I know it's like a lot of that. So you either vibe with that or you don't. So I
right.
get it if you don't, but I can roll with that. Like I don't mind.
Yeah, and I just thought there were some really good moments of humor here, and I ended up laughing out loud a lot more than I thought I would, and so yeah, I just wanted to shout that out because Netflix comedies don't always land.
Netflix movies in general don't always land. I've contended, like every now and then they have some good ones. I could talk about a Netflix movie actually real quick that didn't land for me. But it maybe helps that it's from a very established, awesome filmmaker. I could talk about David Fincher's The Killer, which is awesome,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
I
it was
love.
great.
That was a Netflix exclusive that was great. Yeah, anytime you hear that, David Fincher's got a new movie, you always obviously have to perk up a little bit. But yeah, I think, and it's funny, I loved it, and I've seen a couple of criticism. I think people who didn't get what the message was for this movie. This movie's a satire. It's a satire of the assassination, like hitman genre, because it takes it. Michael Fassbender, who's fantastic in the movie. I'm glad he's kind of having a little bit of a comeback between this. I thought he was great in Next Goal Wins as well, which was really
Mm,
underseen, but he's really good in that movie. So I hope he gets more stuff out of this. But yeah, he's kind of super serious doing these internal monologues, about all these rules you have to do when you're doing this work. And the kind of dark joke is he keeps screwing up all of his own rules.
right.
Like that's the joke.
Yeah,
It's like he's super serious. You got to do this, this, and this, blah, 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 blah. And then the setup of the movie is that he misses his first target in the movie. And it creates a spiraling out of control thing where he's got to fix all these problems. And don't get me wrong, he's good at his procedural stuff. Like you see him, he does know what he's doing, like for the most part.
mm,
It's just he's having like the worst week of his life as far as everything going wrong essentially for him. You know what I mean? And you don't know how much of a reliable narrator is. Is he propping himself up? Is he not as good as he says he is? He might
right.
not be. But that's the joke of the movie. And it's not played for like ha laughs, like he's being silly, but it's like that's the joke, is the stuff you're seeing on screen is like contradicting his internal monologue here the whole time. That's the
Right.
joke. And I think some people didn't get that. That's what David Fincher's doing. He's doing a send up of all those super serious like hitman movies. And that's what's great. The score was awesome. Obviously it's filmed
Hmm.
well because it's Fincher, so it's great. I thought it still had some good tension and really exciting, and it had a really funny, again, kind of satirical climax where you think it's going to be some, and I won't spoil it, but you think it's going to be some like master plan, villain thing, and it's like it's not that at all. It's like a simple kind of misunderstanding sort of thing, which is really great. So yeah, if you haven't gotten around to The Killer yet, obviously it's Fincher. What are you doing? Like, go watch
Yeah,
it.
The Killer is
But
fantastic.
it's one of my favorites of the year as well. Like, I loved The Killer. I just vibed with it. I thought it was great. So
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I'm with you, and
Mhm.
it must just have been a good day for Netflix movies for me because I watched this and Old Dads the same day.
Oh, okay.
So
Two very different movies, but still,
yeah,
yeah, no, a
so
good
so
time.
it was a good
Yeah.
day, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, I especially love the scene, the conversation, the dialogue back and forth with him and Tilda Swinton.
Oh yeah.
Um, I thought that was she's not in the movie a lot, but I think she makes the most of the screen time she is given. I think that dialogue back and forth was
Yeah.
really good. So no, yeah, definitely shout out The Killer. Um, Michael Fassbender is great. I don't think he's going to get an Oscar nomination, but I think he's one of the better
No,
performances of the year.
no, he's very good, and like I say, I won't talk a lot about it, but he's also very good in Next Goal Wins. Like I think that was a movie that was really underseen. It didn't do very well. I think it only made like $10 million or something like that.
Yeah, it
But
wasn't very
again,
well received.
I don't mind Taika Waititi when he's not doing Marvel movies. I've always said that. But to me, you haven't seen it yet, have you, Jacob? Next Goal
So
Wins. Okay, I'll say, do you like '90s sports movies?
I do.
Okay, Next Goal Wins is a totally '90s sports movie
Nice.
in 2023. It's totally Cool Runnings, Mighty Ducks, Little Giants, kind of all that stuff, just with adults or whatever. But like, it totally has the vibe of like a '90s sports movie, and that's why I really vibed with it and liked it. So it's just very breezy, lighthearted, entertaining, good characters, good dialogue. So yeah, I won't go too much into it, but I do recommend it if you dig '90s sports movies. It totally
Mhm.
is one. You'll like it. So yeah,
Nice.
Richie liked it too. He was able to see it, and he kind of agreed with me. It has like a cool Runnings vibe to it, and I dug it. So
Hmm.
yeah, get around to it if you can, or at least when
Yeah.
it drop. At least whenever it drops on like a streaming service. I'm not sure when it does. At some point it will. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it will too.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, let's see. One more.
we'll go a few more. Yeah, we're doing all right on time. Yeah, what else you
And
got?
since we're on Netflix, I think we'll stick with Netflix. And
Okay.
Adam Sandler and Netflix aren't always the
Yeah.
greatest. We'll see how his Spaceman movie does.
I'm looking forward to that though, the
'Cause
Spaceman movie.
it's a drama.
Yeah, and it sounds good, like a drama sci-fi movie. I'm
Yeah,
down. I'm down for that.
I'm,
Yeah.
yeah, Sandler shines in drama, in my opinion,
Uh-huh.
whereas his Netflix comedies don't always
Mhm.
land. But you are so not invited to my bat mitzvah,
Mhm.
um, where he's kind of a side character, and the focus is more on his daughter. And maybe this is a surprise to me, and maybe I liked it a little bit more because I was expecting it not to be that good,
Right.
because it's a Sandler Netflix comedy.
Sure.
But no, I think he as the dad, I think he does just enough, and the focus is on the daughter and her getting ready for her, her bat mitzvah, and she's having some problems with her friends, and the focus is on them. And I thought it was a really cool coming of age story, with some good humor mixed in. So I don't really have much to say on it. I just wanted to shout it out because I was surprised that I liked an Adam Sandler Netflix comedy when
Yeah.
his track record on Netflix and
Well,
comedy
especially when
aren't.
I forgot to log it, but I did watch Hubie Halloween for the first time this year, and I just didn't even bother
Uh,
logging it. I was like, I mean, it's fine, whatever. I just, like, but like I said, you haven't hit all of Adam Sandler's net because last year you had Hustle pretty high up on one of your lists, right? And that was a
I did
Netflix
Hustle. Yeah,
movie.
I loved
Yeah,
Hustle,
yeah,
and and so like his dramas, which is why
are
I'm
great.
hopeful
Yeah, yeah,
for Spaceman, because I even and
mhm,
I'll when we talk about our first time watches, there's actually another one that I'll bring up.
yeah.
But yeah, his dramas, I think he nails it. His comedies, like he has a specific brand of comedy, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it just crashes and burns. I don't think there's any in between when it comes to comedy, at least for me personally. Like I'm either gonna love it or I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
that is
Or
not
it's
good
going to
at
be
all.
Murder Mystery 2. So there you go. You know what I mean? You're either
I
going to get
haven't seen that
the
one,
Bot
so
Mitzvah movie or Murder Mystery 2. You're going to get something
yeah,
decent or something just whatever. They a vacation movie, one of Sandler's vacation movies,
right,
where he gets to go to an exotic location to take his family. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, no, yeah, we'll do just a couple more here. I think one of my bigger surprises of the year that might end up in my top 12. I was really surprised how much I loved, and I've seen it twice now. Gran Turismo. I loved Gran Turismo.
Just watched that today.
It was great. I
It was
love
so
Gran
good. It was
Turismo.
really good.
And again, a movie that could have been a disaster for sure. Anything that's kind of based on sort of a video game. But I think what made this great is it's not really based on the game so much as this true story around the game. And it
Right.
actually is a true story about this guy who legitimately did get on the Nissan team and become an actual race car driver who was just like the best at Gran Turismo. And yeah, it's legitimately like based on a true story. From what I've read, it's pretty close to the true story, including everything that happens at the end, basically. Yeah, again, it could have been the most generic, sort of sports movie, guy trying to, succeed in the sport or whatever, being like a newbie. But I think it just everything that it does in the movie does it so well. And it's Neil Blomkamp. I was excited to see another Neil Blomkamp movie because I like him as a filmmaker overall. And I was glad to see him kind of get back in the mainstream. And yeah, he really puts a flair on the actual racing sequences and makes them really exciting. The way he kind of incorporates some of the game elements with like
Yeah,
the
that was really
lines on the road and like the position things above, and like he makes it feel like kind of video gamey, but they're actually really exciting. I think this is one of the best David Harbour performances I've seen in a while. I really loved his
he's
character in this
excellent.
movie. movie. He's so good in this movie. And I really loved his dynamic with, again, I'm forgetting the main actor's name. He's a fairly new British actor. And I forget his name. Yeah, it's something. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name. But Archie something. Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, but he's really good. Orlando Bloom was fun, and his character is kind of the Nissan marketing guy. But yeah, where it really shines is just their dynamic between each other, their friendship that they develop. The relationship between him and Jaimin Hansu was pretty good in their moments that they had. Their back and forth. But yeah, just how well done technically everything is in this movie, and how it works just as a crowd pleaser. I think this is a great crowd pleasing movie, sports movie that I don't know if enough people saw it, but man, if you missed this in the theater, give it a shot. It's way better than you think it's going to be. I can assure you, and just really, really well executed. So I loved Gran Turismo, man. Really good stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I watched it this morning, and yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by it because I like you said, it could have been a disaster. The last Neil Blomkamp movie I saw was Chappie. And I did not like that movie, so I was like, "Oh, we'll see." I haven't seen the other movies though, so that's not really fair. But I did not like Chappie at all.
Yeah, right. But it's your boy Hugh Jackman. Come on. Yeah,
he's fine.
Right.
It's the other two.
You mean you didn't love Diane Ward in the movie?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
And what a waste of Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
But no, this was great. Orlando Bloom is really good. David Harbour, like you said, one of his better performances of his career, in my opinion. And yeah, the main character, the racing scenes. Jaimin Hansu is good as the father, and so yeah, I really dug it. And the racing scenes were all excellent. So yeah, it's a good feel good kind of underdog story, and I think they executed it really well.
Yeah, totally.
So, one last thing I want to shout out, and I know we're a podcast about movies, but I also like to watch a little stand up every now and then.
Sure.
And I'm a big Mike Birbiglia fan, and anytime he has a new special come out,
right,
as soon as I see him, I'm spending the next hour watching this and listening to him tell this story, because I think that's what I appreciate about his style is he's not a stand-up comedian who goes from one joke to the next. Like, he centers his whole
one big story
around one big story. And so the old man in the pool was just such an excellent story. And I love that he brings like some heartfelt moments where it's like, oh, am I actually getting a little emotional listening to a stand-up comedian?
Yeah.
But I am. And there were just moments where I was like, oh, that's kind of heartfelt. But it's really funny. The set design to make it look like he's in a pool at some point. He does a little bit of crowd work towards the end that is really good. And yeah, it's outside of Across the Spider-Verse and maybe The Holdovers, it's probably the best thing I watched this year. The
Holdovers I've seen 3 times in theaters now. I love The Holdovers. It's great. I already have the Blu-ray because it actually came out.
Only got DVDs. So
I pre-ordered it on Amazon, so I've already got it. I know it dropped on Peacock as well. So if you have not seen The Holdovers, man, I was just gonna say real quick, that's gonna be one of my new comfort movies. I think the reason I went back to the theater 3 times is, man, this is one of those movies where I just like being around these characters and just hanging out with them, And it's one of those things like why I watch The Hateful Eight so much is I just like being at that haberdashery with the characters. And it's this one, like, I just like being at that school with these 3 characters and just hanging out with them and watching their interactions. And it's just one of those comfort movies. I think that's going to become an annual Christmas watch for me, man, for sure. I'm going to watch this every Christmas now. I love it. Maybe more than that. Christmas?
You could watch it at New Year's
New
Eve.
Year's, yes.
You could watch it at both of them.
Right,
Watch
you
it
go,
within a week.
or that could be the
Watch
perfect
it in a
movie you
week.
watch in between Christmas and New Year's, because like
Right.
it starts with the Christmas stuff, but it ends with like the New Year's stuff. Yeah,
Right.
so yeah, it's a perfect movie. Yeah, if you haven't gotten around the Holdovers yet, which I wasn't even, I don't know why I wasn't excited. I mean, it's Alexander Payne, who I like, but I think
Paul Giamatti.
the trailers just didn't do a lot for me. Like the trailer was
Right.
weird, but then like when I actually sat down to watch it, like I got really sucked into it. The second time was even
Yeah.
better. I loved it even more the second time I watched
Mhm.
it, and it just worked even more. So yeah, if you have not gotten around to the Holdovers as well, and the one that's in theaters right now for the last one that I'll shout out is, I also as well was very hesitant about Poor Things, going into it, because again it looked weird. It's Yorgos Lanthimos who makes weird movies. This is the best Wes Anderson movie that Wes Anderson's never made, which is the best way to describe it. One that I really liked. But goddamn, is this movie way better than what you think it's going to be. I will say it takes about 15-20 minutes to get going. But once Mark Ruffalo shows up, like at the 20-minute mark, man, the movie just takes off like a rocket. And this movie is great. It's really funny. You will laugh a lot at this movie. It's hilarious. Emma Stone, this is definitely the best performance of her career. She's amazing. Everything that she does in this movie. Ruffalo, it's one of the best of his career. Your boy Willem Dafoe is great as kind of the mad scientist, in the movie. And he has some really good stuff in there. So you get some juicy Dafoe for sure. But yeah, the way the world is set up, the set design, the cinematography, like it's just so interesting. The score is great. It's a longer movie, but I think it flew by for me. And yeah, it's way better than you think it's going to be. If you're even hesitating to go see Poor Things, I loved it. And I'm so glad I did, because I wasn't sure about it if I was going to vibe with it, but I really do. So
I'm
really
excited. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things, so I'm gonna get to it.
I don't know if it's going to drop on streaming in time for people to watch it like before that, their lists or whatever. Unfortunately, it took a while to kind of roll out. But whenever it does, I definitely recommend it. When it drops on some service here and there.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Yeah. Those. Yeah. We could still go. I could still go for.
Oh God, I got 5-10 more movies I could still talk about. I mean, Iron Claw is great. Anatomy of Fall is great. I mean, I don't even have to talk about it. Oppenheimer's awesome. One of my favorites of the year.
I dug the Barbenheimer.
Past Lives is amazing. I could keep going with my movies, but we won't go too long.
I think I watched this after the episode, because I think you were pretty high on, well, not pretty high on it, but you were surprised by Plane.
Plane was all right. It was better than It Has Any Right to Be. I'll say that.
Yeah, it was one of those. Like, oh yeah, it was pretty good. So it's been a really good year. Like I said, I've seen 58 movies, and only 8 of them have I rated negatively.
Right. So, I probably have the same rough ratio that you have, just with twice as many movies. You know what I mean? Where like I probably only rated like 20 of them ish, like negatively, and everything else I at least gave like at least moderately positive to great reviews on. So again, if you got a ratio like that, like where it's like 80-20, positive to negative, that's a good year at the movies for sure.
Right. But we didn't just watch new movies this year.
Yeah,
we also caught up on some previous releases. So what's something, I know you mentioned that you were like on a 70s kick.
I'm on a 70s kick, and I was trying to think of the last one on the list that I think I mentioned last time. I think it was 3 Days of the Condor was the last one I mentioned on my 70s kick that I saw. I think I mentioned that on the last episode, the Robert Redford movie. That was great, and definitely one of my favorites of the year. So I kept it going pretty much right after that. So there's a few I got to after our episode that I could shout out here. I watched the original Get Carter with Michael Caine, which was awesome. If you want to see like badass 70s Michael Caine when he was like a stud, and just the coolest guy on the screen, it's a great he plays like a mob hitman that his brother gets killed, and so he kind of does some investigating and starts taking people down kind of one by one, doing his thing, doing what he does best, but very meticulously. It's really, really good. I enjoyed Get Carter a lot. And one other 70s one that I thought was phenomenal, and I should have known it going in because it's 70s Roy Scheider, and you can't go wrong with 70s Roy Scheider, but it was Marathon Man. Excuse
Okay.
me. One second.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. I did watch
Yeah.
Michael Caine. I
Hmm.
watched Sleuth for the first
Mm,
time, and with
okay.
Laurence Olivier, and that movie was fantastic. Just the two of them,
Yeah.
and I think, yeah, I mean, yeah, Michael Caine can lead a film. I know he was more of a supporting actor in the later stages of his career, but yeah, like he had some good leading roles, and I think this one, just the dialogue, the back and forth, and them kind of
Yeah.
like devising this scam, I thought was really fun, and then the twists and turns I thought were really good, and then the end of the movie when he's disguising himself as like this police
Mm,
detective, I thought was like it's funny though because like you see it and you're like, oh no, that's the same guy,
mm,
but the other character doesn't know, and it's just makes for some good humor as well.
yeah.
I really enjoyed it. It was part of that when I did that like through the decades thing. That was my '70s choice, and
Oh,
really,
I watched another Michael Caine one as well. I forgot I logged. I didn't log. I watched Dirty Rotten Scoundrels with him and Steve Martin. That movie was great.
oh okay, I need to see that one too. I haven't seen
Yeah,
it.
where they're both like these high end, or well, Michael Caine's like a high end con man who, like, is big, and Steve Martin's like a more of a low end con man, and they try to start kind of basically conning each other, with this little small town
Hmm.
with all these rich people, trying to one up each other essentially. At first he's trying to like fake like he wants to train under Michael Caine, but then he's trying to con him at the same time, that sort of thing. It's a great little back and forth
Okay.
if you haven't seen it. Really good. 80s movie.
Hmm.
But I was going to say the other 70s one, yeah, was Marathon Man, which is Dustin Hoffman, it's Laurence Olivier, and Roy Scheider. And yeah, Roy Scheider's more of like a supporting character in the movie. Um, yeah, again, much like a lot of 70s movies, it's a little slow to start out, but it has great payoffs. Like it's just setting up all these puzzle pieces, to where you don't know exactly where it's going to go, but everything kind of falls into place. It's the movie that it's been referenced a lot. The Laurence Olivier character is a dentist, so it's the "Is It Safe" thing from like Gremlins 2. That's a reference to Marathon
Mm,
Man when the gremlin is like trying to mess with them in the dentist chair. That's what it is. But yeah, it's essentially like Roy Scheider has a secret that he doesn't tell Dustin Hoffman, but this doctor guy thinks he tells him, some information that he actually doesn't have about these diamonds and whatnot. And it becomes, basically a man out of place, getting mixed up into a bigger conspiracy sort of thing. But yeah, Hoffman's great. He's always great in 70s movies too. And yeah, Laurence Olivier is really creepy and awesome as this like creepy dentist guy. Yeah, especially
mm,
the scenes where he's kind of torturing Dustin Hoffman for information. It's really, really it's really something, and it has a hell of a finale. So yeah, I won't spoil too much if you haven't seen it, but yeah, I've seen some really good 70s movies this year, and I love that they just don't care. They they'll go anywhere. 70s movies will go anywhere, and it's when they were just doing stuff and didn't care what you thought, like as an audience member, or having happy endings or whatever. Like, just we're gonna
right.
do what we're gonna do, and we're gonna have unsavory characters sometimes that you don't care, that you don't necessarily like, but we're just gonna drop you in this world and do our thing. So that's why I'm digging them. So yeah, I can definitely recommend both Get Carter and Marathon Man for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll have to put those on the list.
yeah.
Um, I I caught up on a couple of Johnny Depp movies that I hadn't seen
Ah,
yet. So
well,
I
that'll be handy when we do the tournament very soon,
right,
right?
yeah, and there's a
Yeah,
few that I still have to catch up on before
mm,
that as well,
mm,
assuming they make the list.
right.
Sure they will.
I'll
But,
consult you with my list before I make it official. I
all
promise.
right,
I'll send
all
it
right.
to you. We'll collaborate back and forth, but
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
try to hit all of his main stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, this one he's more of a supporting role, but I really dug it. Chocolat
Okay.
with with Juliette Binoche and Alfred Molina. I think Alfred Molina, he's one of those like almost anything he's in, I'm gonna dig it because I think he's just a really good
Hmm.
actor, and he plays like a reverend here. Juliette Binoche, her character is not well received in the new town that she moves to. Yeah, she's this chocolatier or whatever. Opens a
Yeah.
chocolate shop, has a daughter, and then Johnny Depp comes in, and they don't like them either. Like they're very judgmental, and they just don't like people that aren't like them. That was one thing about this movie. Um, but yeah, no, they develop a friendship slash kind of a romance, and Alfred Molina is doing everything he can to try and stop it. And I really dug the performance this year. I thought Johnny Depp was really good.
Yeah.
Um, it's not going to be like one of my favorite Johnny Depp movies, but I thought it was solid, and I'm glad I finally was able to knock it off the list. But the other Johnny Depp movie that I really enjoyed, and this could be at the top of a Johnny Depp list, and I'm gonna say, yeah, I get that. But Donnie Brasco,
Yeah,
Donnie Brasco.
I think I recommended that to you, right? Because I had come to it for the first time like a year ago or something,
Right.
and I knew you were a Johnny Depp fan. I was like, man, if you haven't watched Donnie Brasco yet, that's really good. It's because it's good Pacino too. It's not too over the top. He's like also really good. Yeah, like it's like a more subdued Pacino. But yeah, that cast is stacked. Like Michael Madsen's in that movie. Yeah, like there's all kinds of people that show up in that movie too. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, Michael Madsen. And yeah, the Anne Heche. But yeah, no, the chemistry between Johnny Depp and Al Pacino, it really works. And like you said, it was a subdued Al Pacino, not the hoo-ah.
Yeah.
And probably one of the better Johnny Depp performances. I mean, I know he's been nominated a few times. I know he's nominated for Sweeney Todd and Pirates of the Caribbean. It's funny that those are the two movies.
I know, out of everything,
not something like
Ed Wood, not something like Ed Wood
Brasco.
or Brasco, or even Black Mass to a degree. I could almost argue for
Finding Neverland.
Yeah. He was nominated for Finding Neverland.
Oh, no, he was. Yeah,
he was nominated for Pirates of the Caribbean, Finding Neverland, and Sweeney Todd. But yeah, you look back and you're thinking like, not Ed Wood, not Donnie Brasco, not Black Mass, like some of these other like really good ones where he's almost either unrecognizable or just a really great like kind of nuanced performance. It's like out of all things, it's Pirates. I mean,
it's a fun performance, but it's not one of those.
It's fun, but that's like when Robert Downey Jr. got nominated for Tropic Thunder. It's like, really? Okay,
really one of the best five best performances,
right,
by a lead actor for the year.
Yeah,
I guess it was, but no, this one is incredible. Yeah, I mean, maybe it was just a stacked year, and that's why he didn't get nominated. I'd have to go back and look. What did get nominated, but
or like not even like Edward Scissorhands. I know that movie was beloved at the time, and that's a great performance. Yeah.
So there's a lot of really good Johnny Depp performances that would probably like. Obviously, I'm a little biased towards Sweeney Todd, and I think he's incredible.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, like over some of these performances, like I'll say, like it's Sweeney Todd is one of my favorite Johnny Depp movies. It's since Fallen, and I think I would go back to Finding Neverland first.
Right.
But performance wise, like I would put like an Ed Wood above that. I'd probably put a Donnie Brasco above that as far as performances.
Sure.
So yeah, it is a little baffling, but Donnie Brasco is great. I'm pretty sure I watched it on Netflix. So if anybody hasn't seen it, I think it's still
that's where I watched it too.
There.
Yeah.
So,
have you seen Public Enemies with Johnny Depp?
I haven't seen that one yet. That's on my watch list.
I will say just real quick, and we'll get back on topic, I promise. But that's one because it's a Michael Mann movie as well. Who did Heat and all that. Like I think it's a really underrated movie. Like I really like that movie. It's a great gangster movie. It has some shootouts that are almost as good as Heat, in my opinion, like sound design wise and the way they're choreographed and everything. And that's another one with a ridiculous cast, like up and down. And a lot of people that for 2009, people you may not have known at the time, but like you go back and watch it, and you're like, oh my God, this person's in the movie. This person's in the movie. Because it's like it's Christian Bale and Johnny Depp are the leads, but then like Jason Clarke is in it, who at the time, you may not have known. Stephen Graham, David Wenham, who from like 300, who you would know now, like Stephen Dorff. Carey Mulligan, speaking of Carey Mulligan, she's in there. I mean, not so much Giovanni Ribisi, but yeah, Channing Tatum is like briefly in it. Yeah, not a lot, but he's briefly in there. It has all these like people you would recognize, and you're like happy to see. And
nice
Depp, Depp is really good in it, and as John Dillinger. So that's another one like I would recommend to you for sure if you want to see it like before that episode for sure. I think it's really underrated. I like Public Enemies a lot.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other, we're talking about Johnny Depp tournament now, which I know you're excited for, but it'll be a fun show for sure. But we'll get there when we get there. So I was going to talk about another movie that coincided that I got my 4K, unfortunately, around the same time he passed away. But I know I've talked to you a lot about To Live and Die in L.A. from William Friedkin.
Mm-hmm.
And because it coincided with the new 4K that came out from Kino Lorber, and this is a movie that has been notoriously hard to find for a long time. Like you couldn't find even this movie on like for rental on VOD, much less a streaming service. You know, I couldn't even rent it if I wanted to. I think you can now, or actually, I'm not even sure. I think it might still just be on physical. But there's a Blu-ray version of this as well, not just 4K, so you can see it. But yeah, holy crap, this movie's great and should be talked about as much on Friedkin's level as like The Exorcist gets talked about and French Connection and Sorcerer, you know, like all the movies you kind of associate with William Friedkin. But I think because it's not as well seen, people just don't talk about it. But god damn, this movie was great. Really, really great. And it's kind of a cop revenge movie. It's not really a spoiler. It's just kind of like the setup, but yeah, it's William Peterson from who most people know from CSI, who was on CSI for forever. This is back when he was doing movies. He did movies for a long time before he did CSI. But yeah, his partner gets killed in the beginning of the movie when his partner kind of goes off on his own and he doesn't wait for backup. You know, he's investigating some counterfeit money. They're Secret Service agents doing counterfeit stuff. And yeah, the villain is Willem Dafoe, your boy. And this is very early Willem Dafoe from '85, so it's young Willem Dafoe. But he's still got that face, even though he's like, you know, 28 or 30 or something in this movie. Right. You know what I mean? Like he still looks like Willem Dafoe. But it's another really juicy Willem Dafoe performance. He's very kind of eccentric and weird, and you know, has these like weird kinks and stuff throughout the movie with his girls and everything, and he's kind of creepy. But it's some really good Dafoe, and it becomes like sort of a revenge movie where he's going after this dude kind of on his own. Like he's trying to do it the right way, but they won't let him, you know, so he kind of has to go on his own and, you know, skirt the line. It's a classic sort of story. I got to go around the law and, you know, do this thing, but it has some really surprising stuff, twists and turns throughout the movie, but a great pace and a car chase scene that rivals any car chase scene I've ever seen in any other movie. And I know Friedkin is known for the one he did in French Connection, but this one I think is even better. There's a whole sequence where he's going against traffic on like a 6-lane highway, and it is insane because it's all practical and the amount of coordination that it must have taken to do this. When you see it, you're like, oh my god, how was this not a disaster? Like what they had to do to put it together. But that's just the ending of a really long, even just extended chase through the city and whatnot. But it's a great LA movie, and I encourage people, man, like even if you have to blind buy this thing, it's great. Great, and one of my favorite watches of the year for sure. One of the ones I'm going to be putting my rotation along with, like LA Confidential. Two LA movies with LA in the title that I loved this year. Watched for the first time. LA Confidential and To Live and Die in LA, both great. So I really, really recommend it.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. It sounds good.
Yeah.
And it's Willem Dafoe, who I'm pretty high on.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I watched some Johnny Depp. I also watched some Hugh Jackman. Not as much. But in this movie, maybe I'm just a little bit higher on this. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the movie. But
yeah,
I really dug Swordfish. I thought Swordfish was decent. I mean, on Letterboxd it's at a 2.7, so it's not like terrible. But I really dug it. I thought Hugh Jackman gave a great performance. I thought John Travolta as the villain was fun. Halle Berry's given a good performance. Don Cheadle is giving a good performance. I thought some of the twists and turns it takes were good. I love the opening and how it kind of played into the ending, and the fact that he's trying to do this all for his daughter. I thought the story was intriguing enough that while it's not gonna, again, kind of like Chocolat, isn't gonna make my favorites for Johnny Depp. This isn't gonna be like my favorite for Hugh Jackman. Yeah, right. I think his performance, I think he's doing enough that I enjoyed it, and I think I'm just a little bit higher on it than most people because it's not too well received, but it's also early 2000s Hugh Jackman. I think this was like it was one of his earlier movies because he had only started.
It's around the time of like Kate and Leopold, kind of stuff. Which is
another one I watched for the first time.
Oh, okay. Please speak up.
Yeah. I thought that one was good. I liked the the time travel aspect, kind of the fish out of water sort of thing. Was a lot of fun. I thought there was some good performance here. Here, Meg Ryan, she's good. Lee Schreiber is a lot of fun, but I think I really just dug the friendship between Hugh Jackman and Breckin Meyer. I thought that was a lot of fun, and if that was the movie, if it was just a buddy movie between those two, I would have been on board. So,
Right.
um, yeah, I really dug it. So I guess I did watch uh, two from each of them. I guess so.
Yeah,
I
right.
thought I thought I watched another Johnny Depp one, but maybe I forgot to log it. And I just
Have you ever seen Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman?
I've seen bits and pieces.
Yeah.
I've never watched the whole thing.
I'd be curious. Yeah, I'd be curious to get your thoughts on if you ever sat down and watched it, because it's Stephen Summers, who did The Mummy, which I
Mhm.
love The Mummy. Like I feel like he was always kind of chasing that Mummy vibe, later in
Yeah.
his career, and just
Okay.
never quite got there because they're trying to do that in Van Helsing, but it's just kind of failing. It's just
Mhm.
not doing the same vibe. Although I think Jackman's fine as Van Helsing, he's having a good time. But yeah, it's just not as great. So just as far as that, and I think I've recommended. I told you about The Fountain. Like I like The Fountain more than most people do. For as far
Yeah.
as Hugh Jackman movies. It's interesting on him kind of playing like in these three different time periods. I think it's a good performance from him. Whether or not you get everything that's going on is one thing, but
Right.
it's at least worth watching if you're a fan. But yeah, we'll do Hugh Jackman eventually against somebody, I'm sure, on tournament fights. We'll
The
pit him up
Fountain,
against someone.
one of Hugh Jackman's 6 movies from the year
Oh my
2000.
God, yeah, Homeboy was working in
Yeah.
2006. My God, I think we talked about that when we did the 2006 ladder series. We're like, here's
Yeah.
another Hugh Jackman, and it was like, here's one of 6 Hugh Jackman movies. Yeah, dude owned 2006.
Yeah,
Mm,
he had X-Men: The Last Stand, he had
yep,
Scoop, The Fountain, The Prestige,
flushed
Flushed
away.
Away, and Happy Feet.
So even 2 animated movies, not just
Yeah,
one, 2 animated movies. Yeah, dude was
yeah.
working, man. Yeah. So we've come across that a couple of times on this ladder series where we're like, how many movies does this person? We got that recently. 05 had Ewan McGregor had like 5 movies or 6 movies or something.
Oh, yeah,
Dude was
that checks
working
out.
in 05. Yeah, he was working his ass off.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'll talk about another one. Okay, so a big blind spot for me, and I know everybody's seen it except me at this point. It just had been sitting on my Blu-ray wall, and I just had never got around to it. It's just a big kind of '90s blind spot. I finally sat down about a week ago and watched Braveheart. Finally, have you seen Braveheart?
Also a blind spot for me.
Okay, yeah. Do you own it?
I
That might
do.
be a blind buy. Okay, see, so you're the same as me. You've like probably bought it,
Yep.
and you're like, I'll get to it eventually, right? Yeah, no, because I have a steelbook. Actually, I have it right here. I bought this like 3 years ago. This like steelbook of Braveheart, right? It's just been sitting there, didn't do anything with it. I was like, I'll get to it eventually. And dude, Braveheart rules. You got to watch it. Braveheart's awesome. It's fantastic. It just rules. And whether or not I've seen videos about how not historically accurate it is or whatever about William Wallace and all that. I don't care. I just want to see an entertaining movie, and this movie kicks so much ass. It's great, and it's a 3-hour movie that again flies by, especially once it really gets going and
Mhm.
gets to like Mel Gibson and gets like the main crux of the plot. Because there's some plot twists early in that you might not see coming. As far as like the events that kind of kick off the movie and his sort of it's kind of like Gladiator in that like or Spartacus or something where it's like a guy that there's this oppressive government and this tyranny going on, and he just leads this revolt and like all the common people to take on the Brits in this movie that are oppressing everybody, and yeah, it's just badass. There's like badass war scenes or stuff where he's going off on his own like a mercenary and just murdering dudes left and right, and but Gibson's great. Yeah, really. Angus McFadden, who plays Robert the Bruce, is really good. Who I mostly knew before this from Saw 3. He's like the main guy in Saw 3, and I didn't realize he was in Braveheart, but he's really good. Yeah, I know it's random, but yeah, man, it's totally worth it, man. I another one of my top watches from this year. That I'm definitely going to go back and watch again. And yeah, a great finale where the character kind of ends up. It's really emotional and kind of heartbreaking. Yeah, get to it, Jacob, this year. Get
Okay.
to it. It's worth it. Pull it off your shelf,
Uh,
pop
yeah,
that bad boy in one afternoon, and
I'll do that.
you'll have a good time, man. It's just a badass movie, man. But with some heart to it as well. Really nice, core at the beginning with his wife or whatever, like some really good stuff at the core of it. So I highly recommend it. I'm sorry I took a little long to get to it. I know a lot of people everybody's been talking about Braveheart except me for forever. I get it. Just one of those big blind spots. I never sat down and watched it, but well worth your time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've been meaning to. I know it's a big blind spot, so
yeah, at least get to it before we do the 1995 letter series.
there we go.
Yeah, right.
That's not till the end of the year.
Yeah, it's another 10 series from now, so that might be near the end of the year. You got a little bit of time.
If it's one a month,
right?
We'll be good.
Yeah,
I've got a lot of 95 blind spots, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I referenced Sandler Netflix movies earlier and I was on the Rankum where they did Adam Sandler movies, and I tried to get Billy Madison at the bottom of the list, but there were some people cheating.
Too many people that love that movie, Jacob, right?
No, it's funny though. I could have had it at number 12, 11, or 12, because Malcolm's also not as high on it.
Right.
But what happened was we're supposed to write not answers, but we're supposed to write
rankings on
our whiteboards, and then we're supposed to reveal them. But somebody on the panel, I'm not going to mention any names, decided to not have his whiteboard handy and just vote with either one of the other people on the panel every single time. And I'm like, that's not how this works.
That's not how it works. You got to
very irritated.
Yeah.
It's like,
yes.
I'm not getting upset because Billy Madison's not at the bottom of the list. I'm getting upset because you're not doing it the right way.
You're not thinking for yourself and making your own decisions.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like, I don't care where the movie ends up on the list. It's not that serious.
You knew it was. Well, you knew it was going to make the list, but you're just like, whatever. Right. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah.
There are rules and regulations in place, and they need to be followed. And when they're not followed, it irritates me.
Yeah. Without rules, there is chaos.
But it's also not that serious.
Sure.
But one of the movies I watched for that was the Meyerowitz stories. I watched that for the first time. It's Adam Sandler, Ben Stiller, Dustin Hoffman. And I really, really dug this movie. Like this turned out to be when I ranked the movies of Adam Sandler's that I had seen, and maybe it's just because I lean more towards his dramatic roles. This ended up being like top 5, along with like Hustle, Uncut Gems, and Happy Gilmore. I love Happy Gilmore. That's probably my favorite comedy of his.
It's my favorite Sandler comedy. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So I think that one ended up being number 1.
Sure. Makes sense.
But I really dug this, and I liked how they started off. We were focusing on Adam Sandler's character and his relationship with his father, and that was like the first 30 minutes of the movie, and then we get introduced to Ben Stiller's character, and we see his relationship with his father, and that's kind of the next 20-30 minutes, and then the last half is them as a family and kind of dealing with him being in the hospital and sort of the aftermath of that, and them kind of growing as a family. I do feel a little bad that we didn't get much background with the sister. I thought we could have spent a little bit of time with her and like kind of her backstory, but we didn't, and it is what it is. I thought this was a really, really cool family dynamic here in this kind of story. There were still some good moments of humor. I thought them kind of getting in a fight outside the what they were doing. It was an art show, and they were supposed to like talk about, because their father was still in the hospital, and they were supposed to say some words, and they're kind of getting in a fight and pushing each other. I don't know if it was supposed to be funny, but I kind of laughed a little bit. I don't know if they've done anything together other than this, but I would love to see more Ben Stiller, Adam Sandler together.
Collaborations, yeah. Besides like quick things and quick Hubie Halloween, Happy Hour type stuff.
Where they were the co-leads. I think seeing more from them.
Or maybe if they do, just have one of the movies that Ben Stiller directs, because he directs a lot, and have Adam Sandler like be a co-star with him, but have him direct it,
Yeah,
like there's something like that. That'd be all right.
yeah, because I thought they were really good together, and I really dug the story, and this might be one that I go back to quite often because I really dug it.
Yeah. No, I there's a couple of Sandlers like that I need to get around to eventually, and I think we've talked about doing a tournament at some point of like Will Ferrell versus Adam Sandler because they kind of match up pretty well.
Yeah, they're kind of both
Yeah,
of those like they're comedies,
but they kind of dabble
they're
in drama
dramatic.
every now and then. Yeah, they
Danger
dabble in it
Fiction
occasionally.
is great.
Right, and even Everything Must Go is another movie he did that's pretty good that I like. That's a little more serious. But we talked about doing that tournament, so if we ever could do that, I'll try to fill in a few of these gaps because I haven't gotten to the Myra stories or like the Bat Mitzvah movie that I've heard good things about. But I will at some point for sure. I think I started it at one point, but I didn't, for whatever reason, didn't finish it. That was on me. I got sidetracked or something, and I just didn't want to hurt the movie in that way. But yeah, I'll get around to it for sure. Yeah. Let's see. I'll just shout out one more before we get to our physical media section, where we talk about that. It's a movie I've championed a lot over a couple of tournaments and whatnot. That I was recommended to by a video that the Critical Drinker did. It's a movie called Boiling Point, which I talked about in the food tournament that we did. Which is it's a Stephen Graham movie about it's kind of a one crazy night movie in a restaurant, in a London restaurant, and it's all shot in one take, like legitimately. So not like some other movies where there's secret cuts and stuff in there. It was legitimately all filmed in one take. They did like 7 takes of the whole movie, 7 run throughs, and used like the 4th one or something like that. But it literally takes place in real time over like an hour and a half in this restaurant, and just flowing through and seeing all the interactions between the staff and the customers and all this stuff. And it's really, really good. And even just from a technical aspect, but the acting is incredible. Some of the most realistic kind of acting you'll ever see just in a movie. Everybody's so realistic in their arguments and their tension, that they're having, and the stressful moments that they have. Stephen Graham's kind of like the head chef, and he has a thing with like his sous chef is having some personal issues and whatnot. He's dealing with, a lazy dishwasher that keeps just, bolting out of the restaurant to go meet with his girl. And there's one, rowdy customer that is kind of racist to one of the, wait staff, and they're dealing with that. They're dealing with a hostess that is, seating people in the wrong areas, at the wrong times, and back and forth with that. And there's a food critic in there that shows up that night. So it's all this stressful stuff he's trying to balance. And it's just really great. And apparently it was so well received that they're making a TV show about it.
I was just looking it up. Yeah,
they're going to film the TV show in the style of the movie, where it's going to have the same aesthetic of like these sort of one take things, or they're at least going to try to replicate it. I don't think it's free to stream anywhere right now, but on the good side, I bought it on Vudu for like $5. And I think
on the Roku channel.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, if you have the Roku channel.
There you go. Nice. Okay. I say, even then, if you had to buy it, I've seen it for like $5 or $6, like dirt cheap, just to even buy, and it's well worth even a buy, even just to see it again aesthetically and technically how it kind of runs through. But it's great kind of anxiety, like I said, amazing realistic acting. A movie I've really, really liked, and I've gone back and watched it again since I bought it, just to put it on, and it's excellent. So kind of an underseen gem just from a few years ago, I think from like 2021.
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah. So
the one shot take has me very intrigued.
It's very, very good, and it's not bullshit. It's legitimately one take. I know like 1917 is kind of shot like that, but obviously they have they edited it to where it looks like that, and there are some long sequences or whatever. But this one is legitimately, they filmed it like all the way through like 7 times, and just and then just took like I think the 3rd or 4th take or whatever, the best one. But yeah, it's really,
weren't even necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. You watch it back and, you pick out maybe somebody missed their cue here or there, or, when, somebody flubbed a line here or said something, or hesitated, or, you pick the best one, all the way through. But man, hell of an achievement where everybody has to be on their cues. Exactly. All the extras have to be, all the side characters, the cameras can't, stumble on anything, the camera guy could trip, I mean, whatever, the way they do it. It's amazing. It's a really fascinating watch. So I highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's not the same as like a stage play too, because there's breaks like in between scenes and even
Oh yeah.
intermission and stuff. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's incredible just to think about.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Worth your time.
Yeah, but I know you and I are both
Ooh,
pretty
yay.
big physical media guys. I
We
I did
sure
forget
are.
one that I need to bring over, so I will be right back.
I laid out my my stack yeah next to me like a few days ago, and I've got quite a few. And I will say, just as a caveat, there might be one or two of these that I showed off on our last show. I just can't remember exactly when they came out. There was like ones that I picked up maybe in a January situation. um yeah, I was just saying I might have one or two that may have overlapped the last time. I can't remember when I picked them up in January. So if I showcase two or three that I did last time, I apologize, but
Oh yeah, me
I
too.
couldn't
I couldn't
remember.
remember, so I
I
just
can't
picked up
remember because
everything
these
that I
I
wanted to
couldn't
show
remember
off.
when I bought them. Like I would have to go way
Yeah,
back in my Amazon archives or something. I just can't remember. But most of these are brand new. I promise to this year. So I promise most of them are. But yeah, I got a pretty big stack here. I don't know about you. I got a hell of a stack
I've got
going.
a decent sized stack. Yeah,
I got a lot. I won't spend too much time on
I
them. I'll
got
just flash them real
yeah. I'm
quick.
just gonna
Say a sentence or two, and we'll
about
move
this
on.
many.
I got about twice that many, so
Oh, nice.
but it'll be fun. I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to this. This will be a good time. I got my stack ready to go.
yeah.
So
Most of these, well, not most of these. All of these except for one are steel books. One, I'm just kind of showing off because I'm glad it got a physical release.
oh yeah, and I have a couple of those as well. So maybe like for every one you show, I'll show two, just so it'll
Okay.
balance out, something like that.
Yeah.
Because I think I literally have probably 25 or so here.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm about So
Yeah, at least from what I can pick out, I went over my collection twice and tried to pull all the ones, but a few of these are recent too. So yeah, you can go first if you want to. What you got
yeah,
first?
nice. Yeah. So this was my favorite movie of 2022, and it finally got a physical release. I wasn't sure if it would. And apparently, my Walmart was like, "We're only going to get the DVDs or the 4K Blu-ray combo packs. We're not going to get the just straight Blu-ray."
Yeah, I know
So I
what you
finally
mean.
bought my first 4K,
Yes,
even though I don't have a 4K TV yet.
right.
But finally, weird
Weird. There you
alligator
go.
story on
Nice.
physical media in my collection. Um,
Because
yeah, my
you don't always want to pull up the Roku channel to watch it. You
right.
want to be able to pop the Blu-ray in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and what if I don't always have internet?
Yeah, I
I
know.
have a disc.
That's my thing, man. We had a hurricane one time in Florida that knocked out my phone line, so the internet was knocked out for like a week until they were able to AT&T was able to get out and fix my actual phone line that got collapsed because of a branch. But
Mm,
you know what? I had a whole bunch of movies I could watch on
right.
physical. It was nice,
Yeah.
So maybe I couldn't, go on the streaming services, but boy, did I have plenty of Blu-rays I could watch.
Exactly.
Yeah, physical media, they can't take it away from you
Nope.
guys. I'm telling you.
Nope.
So, you'll always have it.
My only problem is if I do end up moving somewhere, how am I going to take all this with me?
Yeah, I know.
Because I don't drive. Maybe that's my goal. Maybe if I get a job out of state, the first thing I'll do in a week is I'll learn how to drive and get my license like that, just so I can bring all
Right.
this with me.
Right, exactly. No, I that was the one thing when I moved into the place I moved here now. Yeah, and I had to move over from Florida. I had to like box up all these movies and all these shelving and all that. I was like, God damn, I love my collection, but boy, is that a pain in the ass to move. So
Right.
yeah, when you have to
That's the
do it.
thing.
So yeah, I don't have these in any particular order. I just stacked them all in this tray, so I'm just
Oh yeah,
grabbing
me
the
too.
next ones here. So this one is fairly recent, but this is the 4-disc 4K of The Mist that came out, which is a great set.
Nice.
Yeah, really
I
cool
finally
cover right
bought.
there.
I finally bought that on Blu-ray.
Yeah, and this is a 4-disc one, so it literally has it has both versions of the movie in 4K, so the black and white version and the color version, because the black and white version is really cool. If you haven't seen
Okay,
it, and then
nice.
it has both versions on Blu-ray as well. So yeah, if you haven't seen the black and white version of that movie, it really works because it works like a
I wonder
50s
if my
sci-fi
yeah.
movie.
I wonder if my
Your
Blu-ray has
your
it.
Blu-ray, if you've got the 2-disc version, it should have it on there because
I
I used
think
to
I
have that.
do. I'd have to go look.
It's very, very cool and worth your time to watch it in black and white. It really works because it works like a 50 sci-fi movie, so it blends right in. It's great.
Mm.
So I recommend that. But that's a very cool set. The movie looks amazing, and I'll do another one. Like we said, we're kind of doing like a 2-to-1 here, just so Jacob doesn't just run out and it's just me. But yeah, this is another one of my favorite, just artwork wise. 4Ks. I've shown this off on the show, but yeah, the Army of Darkness 4K Steelbook is
that's nice.
awesome. So pretty. I mean, look at that artwork. It's great. The back has, some cool artwork as well. I mean, this thing's gorgeous. Yeah, this is the 4K set. So it's actually got several discs in here. You got the theatrical cut on 4K, you got the theatrical cut on Blu-ray. It's 4 discs total. You got the director's cut on Blu-ray, and then the international television cut on Blu-ray. So it's got 3 different cuts of the movies on several formats. So that's pretty damn cool for Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my next one, and again, I'm just showing these off because I think the artwork on steelbooks are usually
pretty cool. Yeah,
pretty cool. And some most of the time they're different from your like Blu-ray slip covers and stuff.
Yeah.
And so even though earlier in the episode I kind of crapped on this movie, I do think they put out a pretty good steelbook, and maybe I'm helping them.
Jacob, we could do a whole episode of movies I own that I don't even like in my collection. Okay, like I get it.
Yeah. But the next one, I did get the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey steelbook. It's got a kind of a nice back cover.
I probably will too eventually. Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah, I got it at Walmart. It's funny. They got the steelbook, but nothing else. No other version of this movie. And then this one I thought was cool because I wasn't sure if we were even going to get these on physical media. The Disney
the Marvel shows,
WandaVision.
Right. Yeah, so
I kind of really dig the artwork on here too. I haven't cracked it open to watch it yet because I watched the whole series on Disney Plus, and I don't know if I'll get back to it anytime soon. I did like the series. But yeah, it's 2 discs here. And then I'm not exactly sure what all is in here, but it comes with these. I'm sure I'll crack those open at some point and see what they are.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I know. Yeah. I just did 2 as well because I jumped the gun.
No, you're good.
I was totally to show off WandaVision.
Oh no, I get it. This next one's a big one. This is hot off the presses. I haven't even popped the disc in yet, but I was excited to get it. This is the Warriors 4K box set from Arrow.
Oh, nice.
And look how thick this thing is. So this is one of those Arrow releases, and Arrow does some awesome 4Ks. They're the ones who did my Tremors 4K that I think I showed off last year.
Oh, okay.
That amazing set that they gave for Tremors. This is hot off the presses of the Warriors. So you pop this open. Again, it has multiple things like that Arrow usually does for these releases, and I've got a couple of these other ones I can show up that are similar, but you get the actual the discs and stuff, and it comes with a 4K disc, a theatrical cut, and the director's cut. But then it also, like what they do, they like to throw in like these posters that you can fold out, and then they always have these like whole booklets of like behind the scenes stuff and art and everything. And this is interviews, all kinds of stuff, like a really thick, but it's like 50 pages of just stuff about the movie. So if you're into like behind the scenes stuff, man, they're really cool to include that. Arrow always puts like a really good effort into their thing. They always get like new interviews and new commentaries, and like they go into special features. So I'm so glad there's boutiques like that actually care about physical and like making cool features and stuff, not just putting, the movie out there with nothing on it, some of like Evil Dead Rise, which has no special features, which is ridiculous. Like not even a commentary, which is stupid. But yeah, like some of these boutique labels to get a hold of them and actually make an effort to make cool sets still, I really appreciate that. So this was like $40, but pretty much worth it. I mean, look at that. This thing is meaty. That's a meaty $40. So I'm excited to pop this one and see how it looks because I have it on Blu-ray, but the Blu-ray is just kind of okay. But yeah, I think that I've heard good things about this one. So and then one other quick one. This is also hot off the presses. This is the new 4K of Young Guns that just came out. So it's not a steel book, unfortunately, but it's still got. I thought the artwork was still pretty cool for the front of it. So yeah, this is hot off with the 4K of Young Guns.
I haven't seen that one yet, so I need to.
Yeah, I saw it online, so I picked it up.
And then this is one I'm pretty sure I showed off last time. I can't remember, so I'm doing it again anyway. Because for the longest time, my Walmart did not have just a standard Blu-ray version of this, and I don't even own the first one yet. But I will eventually. But Terrifier 2.
Oh, I didn't pull that. You know why? I couldn't remember if we showed it off last time or not.
Yeah, I have the same either. So just to be safe, I did pull it out this time.
I have that exact same. That's the steelbook, right? Yeah. I have the same. I have the exact same steelbook. So you're showing it off. I have the exact same one. Yeah. There you go. Cool.
Yeah, and I really dug the movie, and I'm looking forward to the third one.
Yeah.
And it's a Christmas movie.
Christmas movie, yeah, I know. I won't really count this one, but I was able to, despite the shortage, get my 4K of Oppenheimer. Nice. So rest assured, people, I got a hold of one. I know there was a panic there because they were selling out. All right, so moving on. This was a cool again. We have to salute real quick. Rest in peace, Best Buy and their steelbooks because they're not selling shit anymore. That's a sad day in physical media because they had some exclusive steelbooks that Walmart's kind of the only other exclusive ones that's going to do steelbooks now, which is a shame. So the fact that Best Buy is not doing them anymore in physical media at all is it's a real tragedy. I should say.
Good thing
I don't know, man.
Best Buy near me.
I know. I would go in there at least, but this is one of the exclusives they had. This is Desperado steelbook, which is pretty damn cool. It's a pretty awesome artwork there for that one. Yeah, I mean, just cool. Like, again, I love these steelbook art. It's really, really nice. And then this was the new 4K they just put out of Cloverfield, which is a really cool set. You got a nice slip.
Oh, I like that. Yeah,
with the lens on it. Like yeah, no, I've got another one I'll show off of a Tarantino movie that's got a really cool slipcover. Yeah, the camera comes off and then you don't even really see the monster, and then you see the monster and you pull it off. It's pretty cool. Yeah, this is the 4K set. It's got a Blu-ray in there as well, but it is actually also it's the slipcover, but it's also a steelbook. So nice. Yeah, so you get a steelbook and a really cool slipcover, which is a double duty for Cloverfield. So there you go. Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
And then this one I bought because not only is it the blind spot and I need to watch it, but it's just also got some really nice artwork. But I got The Hunt for Red October.
Ah, I see. Nice.
Yes.
I have the Blu-ray of it, but I don't have that steelbook version. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and for anyone watching,
a digital copy.
If you want the digital copy,
take a picture of that. Pause
right
it.
there. There you go.
There you
go. I always open it to see if there's
something in
inside
there.
Artwork.
Oh yeah.
So
sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Yeah, and it's also a blind spot, and so I figured why not boost my steelbook collection and get a movie that I haven't seen. So.
Yeah. Cool. This was a steelbook I picked up. I just really like the artwork on this one as well. Here's the Catch Me If You Can steelbook. And it's just got really cool, like kind of caricature art on it, with like these, kind of stick figure things. And even on the inside has a little bit of that as well. But yeah, again, yeah, this is a really just cool looking steelbook.
That's a movie I don't own on physical yet.
Yeah, I didn't
find that.
Well, I did on I have a DiCaprio 4 movie set or something on DVD. But yeah, that's one that I wanted to upgrade to Blu-ray, and just coincided when I looked it up that there was a steelbook come out in a couple weeks, so I pre-ordered it and got that. So that was cool. This was another one that came. This is a 4K. Of a movie I really love. This is the 4K of The Running Man on steelbook.
Okay.
Again, really cool.
Nothing but good things about that.
I love The Running Man. I think it just dropped on somebody said Netflix or something. So
nice.
Yeah, you and Richie need to watch that movie, especially as wrestling fans. I keep telling y'all, it's a fun movie that has some wrestling elements. But some really cool stuff there. And I'll do one more because I still got a bunch of stacks here. But this is the international Arrow release. I think it's coming out US on 4K, but this was the international Old Boy 4K that I've got on Steelbook.
Oh, nice.
But this is awesome. And 4Ks are region free, just in case you didn't know. So you can watch a 4K internationally and it'll still work on your player. But yeah, I ended up buying this and getting it shipped. But it again, much like Arrow, has all this kind of stuff on the inside. It has like has these like cards, like little booklets and trading cards and stuff. But yeah, Old Boy's great. And this is just a really cool looking steelbook. I love the colors of it.
Nice.
So,
yeah, I think they just put that on Netflix, so I can finally.
Oh yeah, no, it just popped up on Vudu as well. It wasn't even available to like rent or buy on Vudu. It just popped up there as well for people to like buy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's starting to show up on streaming because it was hard to find for a long time. But yeah, Old Boy rules. That movie's great.
Yeah, so I'll find because it's a big blind spot of mine too. I know a lot of people really love that.
Yeah, watch that, not the Spike Lee version from 2015.
That's what I heard.
With Josh Brolin. Yeah, watch the original one.
A movie that I was very interested in because I know the guy who wrote the book also directed the movie. And then I watched the movie, and it's not that great. There's some fun moments.
I like Maximum Overdrive. I like that movie.
There's fun moments. It's one of those where it's so bad it's good for me. But yeah, the Steelbook is really nice.
That's cool.
I like when you open it, you got the
full Green Goblin.
I really dig that. And again, if it works, I don't know how old this Steelbook is, but if it works, anybody watching, if you want to
I already have it on Vudu. I don't need it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Really, really cool Steelbook, and yeah, there's some fun moments in the movie too.
Hey, come on, it's got an AC/DC soundtrack, man. True. That's worth it. You know, the whole soundtrack is AC/DC. It's great.
I do dig it for that.
Yeah. Not so much of like I didn't get any kind of special versions of it, but I'm really happy we got the Godfather trilogy on 4K. Obviously, you know, great set. The movie looks amazing. I know they have Steelbooks individually of some of the movies, but I don't think I'm going to shell out for like, you know, multiple 4Ks. You know, I'm a collector, but I'm not going to shell out like get them individually on 4K as well. Multiple movies, but I'm so happy that we finally got like a really good set of that. This was fairly recent as well, and I only owned it on DVD, so I upgraded. But this is the School of Rock Steelbook that came out. So again, really cool artwork on that. Kind of got that logo they put on the computer at the end for that one. And then on the inside, you get like a good look at the blackboard when he's doing like the history of rock and roll. That's what they put kind of on the inside. So that's cool. So you can get a little closer look at when he's like teaching the lesson about the history of rock and roll. So, but yeah, really cool Steelbook that I was kind of unexpected for School of Rock. So that one was cool. And again, I can't remember if I did this last year or not, but when I pre-ordered it, the Top Gun Maverick Steelbook, which was great. And again, it just looks cool, like way cooler than the actual, sort of just the Blu-ray of it, but you just get him on a motorcycle in the end. But again, just a really slick looking,
that's nice.
So yeah, I couldn't remember if we did that last year or not, but I just threw it in there. Yeah,
if we did, it's been a year, so.
Yeah, it might have come out like in January because it was in theaters for forever, so I couldn't remember when it actually came out. I still got 3 more stacks here, so I don't know if you want me to keep going or you want or throw a few more there.
I can.
How many more you got?
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 8 more.
I got about 16 more.
Right, so, we can do our 1 to 2.
Yeah, we'll do our 1 to 2. We'll keep going then.
This is very much a blind buy. Some kind of wonderful from the director of Pretty in Pink. It was on the cover with, so that's what got me interested. Really don't know much about the movie, but the disc looks nice. It's just with the drumsticks. Very, very curious. Yeah, like I said, I know nothing about it. It's got on the back. I'm assuming this is a major line from the movie. If not, it's just a random line that they put on the back. I don't know.
Probably.
We'll see. It'll look good wearing my future. Okay. I don't know what that means, but it's a pretty nice looking Steelbook and another blind buy, and I'm always down for some blind buys.
I mean, I blind bought and hadn't seen it forever. The Grease 2 Steelbook, so I own Grease 2 on a Steelbook. If anything
Nice.
else, but the Steelbook looked nice when I bought it, so I picked it up. Yeah, this was another Best Buy exclusive. I'll see. It has a slipcover on it, but it's kind of tight. I gotta wedge this baby out of here. There we go. But again, another one with a really cool slipcover. This is Ran, the Akira Kurosawa movie. From 1985, and it's got this kind of slip cover. You peel it off, and then it goes to like a different color.
Oh, nice.
So that's pretty cool. And then the back has like all the samurai guys on it. Yeah, it's kind of a samurai movie. Obviously, Kurosawa did a lot of samurai stuff. But yeah, again, I just thought that was the most badass thing. Again, I'm gonna miss these Best Buy exclusives because a couple of these are. And they really put a lot of effort into their stuff to make it look good. The other one that was a Best Buy exclusive with my favorite slipcover of the year, Reservoir Dogs on 4K. The 4K Steelbook that had the slipcover, so you see the ear, the ear scene obviously, and you peel that off, and it says Reservoir Dogs on his ear, and the ear comes off. So there you go. But then you get the front there, you get the back there, you get some of the other warehouse or whatever they're laying around. But yeah, really cool Steelbook for Reservoir Dogs from Best Buy. Yeah,
very nice.
Yeah.
Another one that I picked up, and another one that I think has a really cool cover. Is the Ferris Bueller's Day Off, because you got the front with him, but then the back is his feet.
Yeah, you open it up.
You got him laying through
the
car.
Whole split.
I kind of dig that. And then on the inside is them. I'm sure if I took the disc out, you could see
at the art museum,
at the art gallery. Museum.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah.
I wish I liked that movie more to care. But I have a John Hughes Blu-ray set that has like Ferris Bueller and Breakfast Club and like Pretty in Pink and 16 Candles, like a whole big set, and then She's Having a Baby, all that stuff. So I'm good with that. Although I do have a separate Breakfast Club on Criterion. I have the Breakfast Club just for the special features and stuff.
I like the movie. I don't love the movie like some people do. I think it's.
I'm not crazy about it. I can watch it if it's on, but like I'm not as crazy about it as everybody else is. I think Matthew Broderick's character is just kind of a dick in that movie, and I'm just not as into it. So I'm kind of rooting for them to catch him the whole movie. So we'll move on to another 4K. I know I've talked about this movie as far as like my rewatch of it recently, but this is the 4K of Raging Bull, which looks amazing from Criterion. So I'm glad I picked that up and got a rewatch on it because I used to not really like this movie, but I really, really like it now, and it looks amazing on Criterion's been putting out some good 4Ks lately. So that's one of those. And then on the complete opposite spectrum, just out of nowhere, they put out a Steelbook of Good Burger. So, I mean, there you go, right? You got the same one. There you go. Nice.
Yep, I got the same one. So,
I mean, why not? I had it on just DVD, and I thought the Steelbook looked awesome out of nowhere. It's like, hey, you want a Steelbook of Good Burger? Sure, why not?
I didn't own it at all, so it's.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, yeah.
Get it out there.
Got the same thing. So
yeah,
why don't you go ahead and do two more since we kind of showed up.
Two more. Okay, these tie into each other, so I'll do because it's a franchise thing. But yeah, we finally got a 4K of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I picked up this one that has the slipcover and then the classic poster on the inside. But this kind of slipcover, you can see Leatherface on the inside of the eye right there, which is pretty damn cool. But yeah, I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I still think it's one of the best movies ever. And then Vinegar Syndrome, a completely separate label, actually put out a 4K of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, again with some pretty cool artwork on the front there. And what's cool about this is they have a ton of special features. Vinegar Syndrome is like Arrow. They have really good features. One of the podcasts I listened to, F This Movie, and the guy who hosted, Patrick Bromley, he's a huge fan of Tobe Hooper, and I guess word got around to the people of Vinegar Syndrome how much of a Tobe Hooper fan he is. He's constantly like pushing him, and did a whole retrospective on him when he passed away and whatnot. They let him do a commentary track for this 4K, his own, just like a fan commentary, just talking about Tobe, and like it's one of like 4 commentaries on there because it doesn't. it doesn't take a bunch of extra space to just layer another like audio track, on something that you can just
Right.
flip around on. And they let him do that on this Blu-ray, which is awesome. So I tweeted him and I was like, "Hey, I picked up the Texas Chainsaw with your thing on it," and he retweeted me, so that was cool.
Nice.
And yeah, really awesome. So yeah, we got both 1 and 2 on 4K this year, which is pretty great. So yeah, I was happy to pick both those up.
So we mentioned John Hughes. You mentioned Pretty in Pink, and that
Mhm.
is the next one I'm gonna show off.
I see.
The Pretty in Pink, which
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted them to know that they didn't break me on the back. So maybe
Okay.
they just like putting lines on the back of their steelbooks. Yeah, it's also on Some Kind of Wonderful. So maybe it's just a thing they do. I'll have to.
It's just a thing for 80s movies. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah,
Mm.
it's also a blind spot of mine. So I need to. Was also a
Yeah,
good.
that one's in that John Hughes set. I've never actually sat down and watched either Pretty in Pink or 16 Candles. I need to get around to them at some point. Maybe we'll do like a John Hughes show at one point. And we'll
Oh
cover some
yeah,
of those.
that'd be
Like,
fun.
make ourselves watch them. We can
Yeah.
watch those two and Breakfast Club because we know we liked it. Just talk about it, and then maybe pick out one other one or something, Uncle Buck or something. I don't know.
Right.
Talk about something, but that could be a
No,
fun
I,
topic.
I
For sure.
I do need an excuse to rewatch Uncle Buck because it's been a
That'd
while.
be a good one, yeah, because I love that movie. It's my favorite John Kennedy movie. So we finally got a physical release, which it had never really been released physical before. This is the Criterion of After Hours that came out. The other Scorsese movie that I really, really like. I think it has a 4K as well. I just bought the Blu-ray, but it's kind of the same packaging and whatnot. But you see, it's got really cool kind of that late night sort of vibe to it with all the artwork and everything. Really, really underrated Martin Scorsese movie, by the way, if you haven't seen it, and unlike anything he ever did any other time. This one, Jacob, is also pretty hot off the presses. This is a Walmart exclusive. This is the Equalizer 3 steelbook that just came out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's
I
got some
picked
of
up just
the
the
this is the Italian
okay.
stuff. You can see like the Coliseum on the back and whatnot. I thought that movie, by the way, was way better than I thought it would be. I really like the Equalizer 3. But yeah, and you got him kind of sitting in the chair on the inside. Now it's hard to see; it's kind of dark. But yeah, again, we might have to turn to Walmart for most of our exclusive steel books, Jacob,
Right.
because they'll be the ones still doing them. I
I think that's
ordered
where I got all of these.
apparently they did a reprint of the 4K Steelbook of Dread, which I've ordered, but it's on delay right
Mm.
now, so it didn't get here in time. It's like delayed for whatever reason, so I hope it still comes out at some point. But
Yeah.
I'm supposed to get that at some. Same with I ordered the Prey 4K Steelbook that they
Oh,
put out,
nice.
but it's not here yet. So because I got it off of a merchandiser on eBay and I haven't gotten it yet. So, but I should get that at some point. Yeah, I'm really happy. That's another movie I'm happy finally got a physical release because Prey's great. And
It is so good.
yeah, the fact that finally got a physical, I think a lot of people were happy about that.
Yeah. So, another one, and it's if it's a blind buy or not a blind buy, but if it's a blind spot and it comes out on Steelbook,
Probably gonna get it.
I'm gonna get it. So yeah,
Yeah.
the Tom Cruise War of the Worlds.
Oh, I have that same Steelbook in my collection. Yeah.
Haven't seen this one, so I saw the Steelbook at Walmart. Had to pick it up. I really love the artwork on this one.
Yeah.
I think it's great. So yeah, and again,
I love War of the Worlds. That's the last Spielberg movie I think I really, really was over the moon for. I think I could say definitively because I haven't been like over the moon about any Spielberg movies really since the mid 2000s. Yeah, I think there's been some good ones, but like I haven't really been like crazy about anything. That's the last one. I love War of the Worlds. I think that movie's phenomenal. I'm a big proponent of that movie. So, and I have that same Steelbook in my collection over there. So yeah, there you go. Here's another one. This is another pretty hot off the presses Walmart Steelbook. They put out a 4K of, speaking of Spielberg, Duel.
Oh,
his TV movie. But look at that artwork. God damn, is that some good
really
artwork for
nice.
Duel? I mean, holy shit. On the back, you get him kind of getting chased down by the truck. Yeah, it's a very simple movie. This dude just gets chased by this random truck on the highway for the whole movie, essentially, and he's trying to do anything he can to get away from it. He doesn't really know why. And yeah, on the inside, it's just got some kind of screenshots, but even the like the 4K, is kind of kind of a plain disc, but even the Blu-ray disc is pretty cool looking. See
Oh,
here.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a great set. I already had it on kind of a cheap Blu-ray, but I just thought, man, this steelbook looked too damn cool for me not to pick it up. I love this.
That's a nice steelbook. Yeah.
Yeah, really, really nice. So that's on the Walmart website. That's a Walmart exclusive. So.
Nice. All right, and I'm pretty sure I showed this one off before too, but again, I don't remember, so I will show it off again because I don't care. But it's the Galaxy Quest.
There you go.
Quest.
Nice.
Yeah, another one that I really dig. Yeah, not much on the inside as far as artwork goes.
Right.
But on the back, we got the "Never give up, never surrender."
Another quote thing. You got a lot of quote steelbooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
what's up with that?
I don't know, but yeah, just some really nice artwork. I love the front cover. I mean,
yeah,
a movie that used Sigourney Weaver correctly.
Yes.
Looking at you, Chappie.
So. Yeah, right. No, that's some good Sigourney Weaver. Again, this is another one. I'm not sure if I showed it. I got like two more that I'm not sure if I showed off last time or not because they came out around the same time. But I've championed this one. And actually, I think it's out of print now. You can't even get it. The Lawrence of Arabia 4K. But man, hell of an artwork on that one too, as well. Really good stuff. Like even the thing on the side, the shine on it. Red stuff. I can't remember what it looks like on the inside, but it's got three. Yeah, this is it's a 4-disc set because you get 2 Blu-rays, 2 4Ks. Well worth. I think this one even was like $40 or $50 when I bought it, but well worth it. It's going for $80 or $90 online now. I think it's out of print. So I'm glad I got a hold of one. This was. And I think another Best Buy. So speaking of Gran Turismo, got the Gran Turismo Steelbook 4K. Awesome. Yeah, so you get that. You get kind of the couple of the Nissan cars, front and back, and then inside you get kind of him in the seat there. And then even the disc is like the speedometer. That's pretty cool. So good little Steelbook there. I figure I splurged for that one because I really like Gran Turismo.
Nice. So, all right, another one that is a blind spot of mine, and so I figure if I'm going to own it, might as well own it with some beautiful artwork.
Yes.
That's the Dances with Wolves.
Okay.
This is the collector's edition. So it's got 3 discs on the inside. Disc 1 is the theatrical cut. Disc 2 is the extended cut, which is almost 4 hours long. And then disc 3 is just some bonus features.
And
stuff like that.
Is that the Grove one? I think that's the Grove one.
I don't. It's
because Grove does some exclusives. That's where I got the 8 Mile Steelbook I showed you last time. I think.
Okay.
Grove does some exclusives occasionally. I think that's a Grove exclusive.
It's from Shout Factory.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the same thing or if they work together or not, but
I think they work together sometimes. But yeah, because I remember I showed you I got that. It was a Grove exclusive, the 8 Mile Steelbook that I showed you. That was pretty damn cool.
Oh, that is nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it was a pretty awesome. I think I showed that one off last time though. I'm pretty sure I did.
I would sell or give away my Blu-ray copy if I picked up that Steelbook. I would.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I would get
8 Mile.
Get that movie. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Not a Steelbook, but I just like the cover of it, and I was happy to have it on 4K. But Lost Boys is pretty cool. I like the cover of that one. Really nice with them hanging from the bridge. Yeah. Let's see. I forgot I picked this one up actually until I pulled it out of my collection. I totally forgotten. Maybe some of my favorite artwork again. This is the Tucker and Dale versus Evil Steelbook.
I have that one too. Yeah.
Yeah, the comic book cover. Yeah. Like I love this artwork. This is amazing. Like I like stuff like this. Just get like the beer on the back. Fun one. Get some more, a little bit more kind of comic booky art on the inside. Really, really cool Steelbook of Tucker and Dale. And then my last 3 are my other Arrow ones that are similar to the Warriors. So I don't know how many you got left. I got 3 more.
I just got one.
Why don't you go ahead and then I'll polish it off with my 3 Arrows that are kind of similar to each other. Yeah.
So this was a movie. I've seen this movie. It was a random Steelbook release. But Miami Vice, Jamie Foxx, Colin Farrell, some pretty nice artwork. And then just got the 2 of them on the back.
Yeah.
And then I haven't taken the disc out yet, so I don't know what it says next to Colin Farrell. But on Jamie Foxx it says no law.
No.
And
Yeah.
let's see.
Yeah.
No order. So no
law,
no order. I don't know what they have against that show. I think it's pretty good.
I think Law and Order is a fine show, and all the spinoffs are fine too.
Yeah. So whatever they have against that, I don't know. Maybe they were asking for guest stars.
I'll go with my two oldest ones. Is Arrowverse, and then the one that I just got a few weeks ago. So I can't remember if I showed one of these off or not, or if it was out in time. I know I bought it around like the beginning of January last time, but the True Romance Arrow set on 4K.
I don't remember seeing that. So
yeah, look at that artwork. I mean, holy shit! Again, kind of hand drawn stuff.
Yeah,
really, really good. But much like again these Arrow releases, they really put effort into it. Again, you get like the poster they always send with it. Much like all these, you get the get an entire like kind of booklet of info and
nice
and pictures and interviews and all kinds of stuff in there. And then the inside of this one was actually also a steelbook, and even the steelbook on its own is pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
Kind of like hand drawn, so steelbook with this kind of pinkish and purple, color scheme on it. And on the inside, you even get postcards from them on their road trip.
Wow.
I mean, they really like throw in for all this stuff. You got stickers, postcards, all kinds of stuff. So this one I bought it on sale. I think at one point went on sale, and then I had like gift cards for something, so I picked that up. But well worth it. I love True Romance. It's a great movie. I got the Arrow put out a 4K set of RoboCop.
Very nice.
This is an awesome set as well. Again, you get great kind of box. Again, these thick Arrow releases that are just really cool. Same thing. You pull it out. It's got the usual, booklet of info and everything. This was not a steel book, but it's got director's cut, theatrical cut, 4K Blu-ray, everything. So again, Arrow puts a lot. Hats off to Arrow for putting on amazing sets. These sets are all worth it, and that's why I usually pick them up. And then the final one, which is hot off the presses, I showed off Tremors last year. Jacob, they put out Tremors 2 Aftershocks on 4K, which again, this movie. It wasn't even released in theaters, Tremors 2. This was straight to video at the time. It didn't even make the theaters. And a lot of people don't even know that. I like Tremors 2. I think it's a hell of a sequel. Not as good as the original one, like not quite, but still a really, really entertaining, fun sequel. I was surprised when they said they were going to put out Tremors 2 on 4K. I mean, I understood the original one. I was like, oh yeah, Tremors, of course, 4K. But Tremors 2 on 4K. So I was happy to do it because I've only ever had that on like, a DVD in the multi-sets, but same thing as usual. You get the great thing again, a ton of special features for a direct-to-video movie. I mean, they went all out with the special features, a couple of commentaries, a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff. You get a poster as well, fold-out poster that's looks like a thing, and then again, same thing, kind of a whole booklet of stuff and behind the scenes and all kinds of things. So Arrow killing it this year, absolutely killing it with all their releases and their exclusives. Hats off to them, man, for being one of those boutique labels that puts effort into their physical releases, which I appreciate. So
yeah, absolutely.
As a physical media collector, they're a good company that I appreciate.
I'm going to order from them more often.
Yeah, Kino Lorber puts effort into the ones. Like I said, the To Live and Die in LA, but they put out other movies, but Kino Lorber puts a lot of effort into both the restorations and the special features. Vinegar Syndrome's the same way. Second Sight as well puts a lot of effort into their stuff. I'm so glad we at least still have these labels that Shop Factory and Scream Factory obviously always put out great stuff. Scream Factory puts out all the horror movies, and always does a good job with their restorations and their special features. So I'm glad we at least still have them to put out great physical releases every year.
Right. So
I know we're getting all those 4Ks of the James Cameron movies, although I've heard wonky things about the restorations. So I'm a little hesitant about upgrading my Aliens or not. We'll see.
Yeah, but those are all cool. Yeah, I'm curious to see.
Now the worst part is tomorrow I gotta put all these back on the shelf in order.
That is yeah. But it's fun to show them off. It's fun to talk movies. Yeah, we'll probably not have another episode until February, just because I think you're going out of
I'm
town
out
or
of
something.
town, and then we got the Royal Rumble on the Saturday, which we're all
Yeah,
going to probably watch together because we
right.
watched it and we were keeping track of the numbers and all the last. We'll probably do that again.
Yeah,
Wolfman wants to do 2 shows on the 20th, so yeah, I'll probably. So we're just busy, but we'll come back on February and get back into the regular schedule once everything settles down.
right.
Did we talk about what we want to do? Do we want to do the biopic thing we were talking about?
Yeah, I think the
To,
biopic.
co-
Yeah,
to coincide with the Bob Marley movie that's coming out a
right.
little
Yeah, I
bit.
think I
Yeah.
think the biopic episode would be fun because that's. I mean, we've talked about biopics, but we haven't really dedicated
Mm-hmm.
a full episode to it. So, yeah, we kind of discussed some choices, but we can finalize off air
Hammer it off there, yeah.
and pick the 4 that we want to focus on. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of what we'll do when we come back in February. But we won't be gone until February. We'll still be on the channel. There's still some tier rankers and tournament fights.
For sure.
We'll be on the Lonely Marks on Thursday talking Turning Point 2009. That was your choice for co-winning because we are both one.
Because you'll be doing a topic the week after that, so you'll get your chance.
So we're doing some Turning Point 2009, which I may have seen matches from, but I don't think I've seen the show as a whole. So I'm excited to go back and watch it. I think 2009 TNA. I think if I remember correctly, has kind of ups and downs, but for the most part, I thought it was delivering some really good stuff. So I'm excited to go back. But yeah, I mean, what else do you have as far as tier ranker and tournament fights?
Yeah, no, I mean, and even stuff that we got on other channels and whatnot. Like so, a lot of the back half of this month, will be a lot of the 2023 stuff. The other shows that we're going to be doing as well. I know me and Richie and JPO, I believe we settled on the 14th on a Sunday. We'll be doing, if you want to see the worst of this, the counter to this, because we all watch bad movies, so we have enough to make worst movie lists. And I get it, people aren't into the bad movie stuff as we are, but we are, and we have fun with those. So we'll sit down and actually do a top 12 worst list, kind of everybody's doing their best. But this is all leading up to the good stuff, so we'll do that, get it out of the way. We've got Ben Foster versus Sam Rockwell on tournament fights. That should be fun to see who comes out on top of there. Like I said, Lonely Marks. We got some Seen and Heard coming up. We'll get into a TV tournament with Malcolm versus JPO and their TV shows. You'll definitely be on with me the week Jordan's out of town. You'll be on with me co-hosting the Johnny Depp versus Gary Oldman tournament. That's on the 19th on a Friday. So I'll get you to co-host that one with me since you're the Johnny Depp guy, and you can't promise, I'm sure, that you won't vote for Johnny Depp every time, but we'll see.
Depends on the Gary Oldman movie.
Yeah, or it might even depend on the Johnny Depp movie. Transcendence is not a great movie. One or two of those pirate. Yeah, Alice in Wonderland sequel, maybe not, that sort of thing. So it may depend on the movie. We'll see. That should be a fun tournament. They both have great filmography. So that'll be a tough one. And then, like I said, the back half of the month, right near the end, the week of the 22nd, it'll be the 22nd, the 23rd, and the 26th will be the 3-part 2023 tournament. So that's going to be big. We'll do a full 128 tournament with so no quibbles over including whatever, because we're going to go full 128 with it now that we're back into it, and just have damn near everything in there, so everybody's represented. That'll be great. And then our actual podcast league now of our actual top 12 2023, I believe that panel will be me and Jordan, Wolfman, Richie, and JPO. I believe we'll be doing that. We'll be revealing all of our lists on podcast league now on a big round table, similar to rank them. You were on there, you've already done yours. So if you go back and check your rank them,
JPO was too. But his could change because he hasn't seen the Iron Claw yet. And I believe he said he's seeing it later this week.
Yeah, no, I think he's seen a couple more movies. So his could change. I didn't catch all of Rankin. I only caught pieces of it. So we'll see. But even if he's on there, that's fine. Because we won't know everybody else's. I've kind of hinted at a few of mine, but I haven't given my exact order and all that. I'm trying to keep that kind of off air. But we got a full month of some fun stuff still to come. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, it should be fun. I'll pop up every once in a while on some of these shows, like you said. But we'll be back in February to talk some biopics. Stay tuned for that. Like, share, subscribe. hit the bell if you want to be notified when we go live.
Mhm.
And feel free to join in the conversation. What are some of your favorite movies of 2023? Some of your like bigger surprises. What are some of your favorite first time watches that you discovered from years past? Let us
Yeah.
know. And thank you for watching. So for Pez, I'm Jacob. This has been a podcast about movies, and we will see you next time.